Howdy y'all, and welcome to the Brawl Stars World Championship. We are back with the July monthly finals and another opportunity to crown two of these teams world qualifiers. I'm here today with Ark.
Hey guys, how you feeling today, Woody? I know you had like a long sleep from yesterday. It was a long day for everyone, but a very exciting day nonetheless, and an exciting day to follow as well as we go through the LATAM South and America LATAM North regions.
Thousands of dollars in prizes to award and dozens of points to give to these teams for making it through today. But let's take a look at the strategic element of Brawl Stars. We've got some brawler pick rates here, and as you can see, Gene over 50% win rate and being played in almost half of all games, 42%. That's a huge number, especially given the high number of mirror matches that we see with Gene. Really popular brawler, that unique super ability to pull enemies in close to you, so useful in many different game modes.
Yeah, despite having a load of nerfs to Gene as well, still rocking it in terms of stats, and M's very much so as well, with 51% of a win rate, and Daryl too. But you know, got to remember that we've just had a recent balance change too, so how these stats will shift and change over time we'll see. But at the moment, in the previous meta, M's was very dominant.
That's true, and a good point to make there. You know, I've been checking out Coach Corey's post on over at r/Brawl Stars Competitive, so keep an eye out there if you want to get the top tips on the new developments in the metagame. But let's take a look at the schedule for today. The first region we're looking at is LATAM South. This group will have B4 Esports versus Red Canids up first. Then INTZ will be hopping into the hot seat against Red Canids and following up with a match against B4 Esports.
Yep, and then later on today, moving into the NA and LATAM North region, Omen Elite versus Kosmos Esports, followed by Omen Elite versus IX the Snacks, and then Kosmos Esports versus IX Snacks.
Going to be some excellent matches today in the LATAM South region. The big story is the lead for INTZ, a team that seems almost impossible to catch up to, more than double the points of B4 Esports right now, sitting up at top with 160. But these two other teams are upstart contenders, and with an excellent run, they might still have a solid shot. But this could be an elim match right here off the bat, Ark. B4 Esports versus Red Canids, the second and fourth place teams respectively in this LATAM South region. Only one team from this region can go to the World Finals, and you've got a great chance right now at finding out which one of them will not be it.
Yeah, absolutely, and worth pointing out and remembering also that INTZ and B4 Esports did qualify for next month's monthly finals as well, so they will have a chance to gain more points there too, whereas other teams like CLASH LATAM didn't quite make it, so that will change a lot of things with regards to the scoreboard, and here we see the players of those teams as well.
First place in this region will score 50 points on that leaderboard. Second place gets 30 points, while third place will get 20 points. It's right now an 80-point deficit between INTZ and B4 Esports, and a 100-point deficit between INTZ and the Red Canids. So knocking down the Brazilian behemoth INTZ will be a key target today for both B4 Esports and Red Canids. But hey, hats off to the Brazilian squad this month. All three teams from the LATAM South region were from Brazil. Really hard work from that community to close out this qualifier series, Ark.
Yeah, great to see. Yeah, you love to see it, and as I'm sure we'll see many brawlers that we saw possibly yesterday or potentially not. I mean, we did see a big difference going between the Asia and European regions, and the bans are in. It is going to be a Sprout ban for B4 Esports, so we did see a lot of Sprout being banned still yesterday. That's kind of consistent with that, and a Jackie ban for Red Canids. What do you make of that, Woody?
The hammer is out and Sprout won't be about. Sprout really popular on maps that have got a lot of obstacles that super can block out enemy retreats on. As we saw yesterday, being able to corner your opponent where they don't want to be sitting is a really clever surprise move from Sprout that won't be available to these brawlers. And Jackie, of course, another really popular up close and personal tank that works particularly well on maps like Siege here. Olive Branch is going to be the first map for this first set. Of course, the goal in Siege is to destroy the enemy Ike by collecting as many bolts as you can, and domination of that center lane is going to be the central focus of the two teams in this first game mode.
Yeah, Olive Branch in particular, for me, Sprout being banned here is going to make quite a big difference. As you can see, those tiny channels on the left and right-hand sides, being able to block those off can make a big difference in the team's ability or inability to collect those bolts around the map. So for me, I think that Pam is very much on the cards here. We saw a lot of Pam being played on Olive Branch yesterday, as well as potentially like a Rico option down the lane side, or maybe a Barley as well. We saw Barley being played quite frequently by CODEMAGIC and other teams in the Europe. Really a very diverse amount of brawlers here on the cards for these players.
Yeah, lots of obstacles in the middle open the range for those thrower brawlers that we see. Barley worked so super well for winning teams yesterday on this map, so good chance of him coming back into the action to toss some more bottles at the opponents. Lots of area control that he gives as well comes in very handy. But we'll take a look at the leaderboard up on screen right now. INTZ, B4 Esports, and Red Canids, those three teams qualified this month. Clash LATAM will be sitting out, but there's only one spot to qualify for the World Finals here, and INTZ is by far the favorite at this point, having had success in many previous qualifiers and just being the team to beat in the LATAM South region.
Yeah, absolutely. That the team that is definitely on all eyes on today, and also the voting as well that's going on Twitter would absolutely tend to agree with that trend at the moment on the Brawl Stars at Brawl_Esports Twitter, the official Twitter account for this competition. INTZ have got 65% lead right now over Before Esports and Red Canids as the favorite today. So.
Yeah, a lot of fan support for the INTZ squad. This is an esports organization that has got a lot of different legs into the Clash of Clans competitive scene, and starting off really strong with this first World Championship, looking very healthy in their competitive approach. But we remain to be seen whether or not that will hold up. We've seen giants fall before, and anything goes on any given Sunday. Really excited to watch how these teams have adapted to the recent balance changes. The metagame been shifting a little bit, much in favor of Gale, a brawler that we hadn't seen in previous months, but that had shown up and to huge effect yesterday, taking a massive spike in win rate thanks to the changes to his regular attack and no longer getting knocked back by his own super.
Oh yeah, many balance changes to mention for sure, and I think if this year has proved anything in Brawl Stars Esports, it is to expect the unexpected, and I think that's
probably the only... Mortis?
Yeah, well, this is it. You guys probably saw yesterday, Mortis now no longer has the 100% win rate, so maybe we'll see as a result of that him being played even more, maybe, because there's less of a risk factor there to upset the viewers at home.
Yeah, my heart goes out as soon as we saw that Mortis drop our last little brawler with a 100% win rate. Maybe it's time to bring in another crazy pick, like, Crow hasn't been played at all. So if you can get one win with Crow, you can get that win rate back up to 100% for at least one brawler out there. Go for the off-meta pick, INTZ. I really want to see you guys make a surprise change here and catch your opponents off guard.
Or, complete the meme. Let's start this, Woody. Let's get Dynamite to be the next brawler to make an appearance like the Mortis. That would be fantastic to see. But teams are going in. We are going to see Gale straight off the bat for both teams, and that use of that bounce pad gadget to launch both teams fully into the action very, very early on.
Yeah, the Red Canids up top take a few big hits. Parzival going down. Guigle now the only remaining player up on the top for the Canids, and that means that they haven't been able to score a single bolt. Massive siege bot coming in from B4 Esports right off the bat, and you see them swinging hard in the first exchange of this match. Well done to B4 Esports, pushing in super hard and giving no breathing room at all to the Red Canids.
Yeah, I mean, a very similar comp, but nonetheless, before Esports definitely making a really, really good mark. And look at that. Wow. Could he just launch it straight onto those mines that were placed very strategically so by Tufa, and looking like a really, really good second round so far here for Before Esports as well.
Not giving up any ground on the right side there. Beto pushes Parzival back. He's going to get knocked into a corner now, though. He's got to be careful because Parzival's attack can bounce over these ledges, but not any chance of making it happen this time. Beto knocks him down with a super and will get the finishing blow. A kill on Grigol as well, who is just a bit too aggressive with that super, charging on in, trying to get just one little tiny bolt for the Red Canids, but no dice. B4 Esports have got a dominant showing so far here, knocking down a second seed spot at level 7. Now the defense is going to be really difficult for Red Canids. They need to reestablish themselves in the middle of the map and get basically every single bolt if they want to have any shot at victory.
Yeah, it was actually not a bad defense in total, only like 40% damage now for Red Cannons' this Ike. But look at this, the amount of bolts is still even. Like, Red Cannons can't seem to find the momentum here to stay alive long enough to bank these bolts, as on the right side, Parzival gets taken down.
Even when poor little Parzival manages to get the kill on Beto, he gets eliminated by all 3 mines from that Bo super, just knocking him apart. Well done to B4 Esports, grabbing the 3rd and final siege bot, all of them in their favor. The tic-tac-toe victory for B4 Esports. No way for Red Canids to make the comeback happen this late in the game. It's just a matter of whether or not this Ike is going down in 5 seconds or in 8 seconds, Ark.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the number of bots for Esports, the level of those bots rather, was insanely high, and actually only 6 bolts were banked throughout the entirety of that game by Red Canids.
Bolts get bots and bots get shots on the Ike. Dominant showing here from B4 Esports in game number 1. Red Canids have brought a relatively similar comp here, and I'm wondering, was Carl a mistake for them? Was Mr. P a mistake for them? Did they make a bad brawler selection, or was it just poor tactical gameplay in the match itself?
Well, let's just say we're very similar comps. You know, for me, Mr. P and Gale is a good combination. I think they might want to consider maybe bringing in Pam into the mix over Carl. Carl is in a great place in terms of the meta, but perhaps not the most favorited brawler for Olive Branch. But, you know, for me, I think that, you know, Mr. P's new reworked star power definitely deserves a shout out as well. Revolving Door is causing a lot of issues on the playing field with those portals being spawned 3 seconds faster. It definitely allows your team to be able to advance and put more pressure, as your opposing team are often having to take care of them and not be healing in those instances.
And another question for you, because I know that you are a resident expert on the tippity-top levels of the competitive metagame. I want to know, what's Bo? He's a brawler that we typically only see in bounty game modes or when there's a ton of bush coverage all over the map. He got used there really well by B4 Esports to provide that area coverage with his super, dropping mines left and right, and even getting that totem set up in a really aggressive spot there. Is Bo going to be useful in more cases than we'd come to expect?
Bo is a bit of a wild card here for me, to be completely honest. It wouldn't be my go-to selection, but yeah, very, very rightly said. Being played very, very well by Tuva here, and yeah, not the most go-to of choices. I would say probably a Pam would be more that kind of role, but yeah, I mean, Tuva was placing some very, very well-placed mines and playing Bo to great effect.
Well, Bo will continue control over the center here. I wonder if they're using Bo as like a counter to Gene specifically, just because Bo has a little bit longer range, and with those mines getting set up, might be able to provide just what B4 Esports needs to counter those big heavy pushes from Gale, which always seem to hit. Yeah,
that's a really, really solid point. I think you could well be right there. Gale is definitely a brawler to keep an eye on. The competitive scene definitely noticing the strength of Gale, and we saw a lot of Gale being banned yesterday as a result of those new strengths. And yeah, Bo is able to sort of just remain a bit out of that range and get those shots accordingly.
I gotta say, I think the biggest strength for Gale is that he just almost never misses. If your opponents are in range, that shot is almost guaranteed to land on them, unless they do some really sneaky survivability super to just kind of jolt out of there. We saw Daryl actually rolling out of range of a Gale shot one time yesterday, but Gale just gets such reliable damage and is very good at denying opportunities for your opponents to be able to retreat and recover.
Absolutely. Level 6 coming in now. It's actually a much better performance that we're seeing from Red Canids this time around, as the pressure again pounding that Ike with now only 58%. The last siege is coming up in the next 30 seconds. 6 bolts in the bag before Esports does provide them a little bit of a cushion, but this last round is all to play for right now.
Yeah, it's really close here. We've got a big bolt lead for B4 Esports, but if Red Canids can hold on and get that total over 6, then they will definitely be able to clear out for the victory. A heroic charge from Tufa over to the right side is not going to get rewarded. Parzival's Robo-Porters there are going to be just enough to defend, and with that, it looks like Red Canids have done it. They've held on to control of the middle and have kept that siege bolt level high. The third and final bot will be coming in for them, and what a counter punch from these clever foxes, sneaking on through, taking the first loss, but dealing just as much damage the second time around. This is a really tight set so far.
Well, a little cheeky grin from Guigo. That is going to be the end of that game. You've got to hand it, actually, to Red Canids there. They didn't change anything in regards to their brawler comp. They just played better.
Yeah, comp was entirely the same. They adapted to the strategy that B4 Esports was running against them. I think a really key difference here was that the first time around, Red Canids was playing a bit more aggressively. They were charging in, they were making really risky plays to try to grab bolts and run out of there, and B4 Esports was punishing time and again, really far range on these 3 brawlers that they brought, and able to get those little pop shots off so that even if Red Canids could grab a bolt, they usually wouldn't be able to carry it all the way back. And sometimes even if they made a play just defensively to try to deny B4 Esports the chance to get a bolt, they'd be able to sneak in there anyways and knock them down. So great read there by Red Canids, I think, grouping up together a little bit stronger that time, letting the siege bot do the work for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Finalizing the kills and spending more time to try to generate opportunities to confirm those kills, I think makes a massive difference. When it's a 3v2, you're going to be able to bank more bolts as a result, and that's what we saw there.
All right, well, we've got our first tiebreaker, and I know fans of both teams are going to be cheering on their squads here for our first set victory, going one way or the other. Tipping the scales this early on is really important because we pretty rarely see a comeback happen. The team that loses the first set has a lot of difficulty making a comeback happen afterwards. The 3-1s and 3-2s that we saw in the first couple of months have been kind of trickling down. We've seen a lot more dominant play, especially yesterday. The first 2 matches that we saw were both 3-0 shutouts. So this is going to give a lot of momentum to one team or the other and really give that big boost to either B4 Esports or Red Canids. Looks like the Red Canids are going to claim control of the center to start things off here.
Yeah, this is the thing. You start having the mind games play a role, and having that on your mind, the pressure of having to come back can be very daunting sometimes to these teams who are under a lot of pressure. A lot of money on the line today, and more importantly, the points that these teams need to make it to the grand final. So with a region like this, where it is really everyone fighting to overhaul INTZ, as the first push though coming in, it's going to be for B4 Esports.
Yeah, great job there to Guigo on defense, just outranging a Dinho there, tossing off that spike and barely taking any hits himself. Nice push, though, to B4 Esports on the other side. You got to give him credit for getting that Ike down to 83%. A quick charge from Guigo, uses that super to grab a bolt and will zip back on out, but he'll lose control of the mid now to a blue team that just doesn't seem to be letting up at all. Tufel will get another bolt, and Parzival barely surviving on the right side. They're not really looking too eager to grab that last one, but he goes for it anyways. That's not going to be enough to get Red Canids back over the hump, though, and B4 Esports will get the second siege bot again.
Yeah, definitely the momentum right now is with B4 Esports, and worth noting that Red Canids, if they can defend this push, do have 5 bolts in the bank, 6 now from Parzival for the next round, and that could be very good for them if they can just hold on a little bit, and that's not that much damage, actually, Woody.
Yeah, awesome defense there from Red Canids. But remember, in any time a siege bot comes at you, you're going to be working uphill to reclaim control of the mid and get those bolts back in your favor. Nice kill from Parzival over on the right side. Beto playing very aggressively, not rewarded for it. Tufa now on defense in the center, trying to deny access for the Red Canids, but they've got a massive bolt lead, and it seems like it won't be possible for the B4 Esports squad to overcome that. They're going to have to play defense on this last one, just trying to deny as many bolts as they can to their opponents and keep that bot as small as possible. But 10 puts a big lead in favor of the Red Canids. That big purple bot is going to be hard to stop. He's moving in fast and hard. 15 seconds left for the Red Canids to get this attack in. They only need to get 28% damage off of B4 Esports, and that seems possible. But what a massive amount of damage from B4 Esports, knocking down that siege bot. Can that Ike stay alive? It can!
Wow, that was insane. The bow minds of Tufa came in so clutch there, and actually, Bo, not a bad brawler pick for that reason, and making Power maybe look a little bit inferior then.
Wow, yeah, I was wondering what the strategy behind the Bo pick was. He has some great range, but it turns out with so few little spots that this bot can path around, you can almost always predict exactly where they're going to go and get those chain stun mines blasting off on him. Look at that. He got shut down at still the perimeter. That was a level 10 siege bot. That thing goes pretty fast, Ark.
Yeah, and the HP of those things is nothing to be trifled with either. I mean, the Mr. P turret as well, taking even more damage combined with the... There was actually a bow mine placed in the spawn there as well of red cannons, which that first initial stun was there, and then Tufa then recycled the super to stun again in their own spawn. Combine that with a Mr. P super as well, and you're able to delay that push so much.
Yeah, one of the best defenses against a siege bot that I've ever seen in a Brawl Stars championship. Awesome job there to the B4 Esports squad against a huge bot coming straight at them. But we're already ready to hop into the next match. It's going to be penalty kick. This is a brawl ball game mode. And of course, as you all know, it's just about getting that ball past the goal line. Busting down those boxes can be a big boon to you. So lots of times brawler picks will come in favor of anything that can eliminate obstacles. But sometimes brawlers just want to go for that overtime play with a hard defense in the first couple of minutes and then knocking one down when all the obstacles are removed.
Yeah, this map is a bit of a strange one, I think, for the competitive players. Some don't really like being so restricted in their lanes, but you like you say, it's rightly so in the overtime, a very different map. So do you take that risk and go in with a B or something, and then hope that you can kind of extend it into overtime where you're going to be able to finalize the game, or do you go in with something like we saw Semantic rocking with yesterday, like a really close quarters wall breaking brawler like Frank, and just decimate your opponents to ensure those early goals?
Well, all the Brawl Ball maps are the same in overtime, and anytime you get a map that is defensively favored, you're much more likely to get those heavy tanking compositions from the brawlers early on. So we'll tend to see in the first minute or so whether or not we've got a setup from either team that is targeted on trying to get an early goal here, or if they're just going to kind of contend for that middle position. A lot of times they won't even try to pick up the ball until they've killed at least a couple of brawlers from the enemy team and be able to push in hard against them with that. You usually see at least one relatively tanky brawler with some mobility bonus on his favor. Someone like Daryl can play pretty well in that role. What other sort of brawlers are you expecting to see in this map, Ark?
Well, this is the thing, because for me, these bans are really strong here. So having Sprout out of the mix, having Jackie out of the mix is really important to these teams, because they're actually two of the strongest brawlers on this particular map. So having a thrower could be a good thing to have for sure. For me, I do like B here. I think that, you know, you can get a lot of damage and you can get a lot of value even in close quarters here. They're going to be going in with Carl's actually, yeah, Carl's a very good pick. I like this from Red Canids and the thrower as well. Actually, Carl being picked as well for the B4 Esports. So yeah, I like that pick.
Carl and Mr. P for both sides. It's just going to be this Barley versus Gene mashup here. Gene working really well in a lot of game modes. Wow, with an excellent super there. That might have actually just denied a goal. Finally getting a respawn here. Tufa's going to be pushing back out and defending against a Red Cannon squad that had a big push early on, but just didn't get enough offense there to get past the goal line here.
Yeah,
establishing now.
Yeah, I think a smart play by Red Canids just to not overcommit. They could have tried to go for it, but they would have definitely lost a lot of control in the process. And staying alive here, so important as a Dinho, just about doing just that, but down to a Porter. Wow, that's a bad way to go, Widdy.
Defense from Tufa now is going to try to deny Greagle, but no! Greagle sneaks it in! Tufa playing the, mind games here, fired away a shot against Kata instead of just knocking down Greagle, and with a tiny sliver of hit points, he made it past the last line of defenses. You cannot take the risk and try to play a raw defense when there's a ball that close to your goal line, Ark.
Yeah, sometimes when you dare, Woody, you win, and it didn't look like the HP was really on his side, but the ball went in and putting them in a really good place to actually
another one
here as Canids advancing. The super shot is there, and that is gonna be it, over and done as quick as that.
Sneaky Foxes, the Red Canids have gotten the first game on a 2-0 shutout. epic job there. The defenses from B4 Esports just cracking repeatedly against, I gotta say, I think a better brawler pick here from Barley. So many obstacles to hide behind and lots of opportunities to deny access to Carl. He has a lot of difficulty getting around the corners when he's got to walk straight through all that Barley goop.
Yeah, this is the thing. With Sprout being so dominant in the meta recently, people are forgetting that actually throwers are immensely good. And I think this map, of all the maps, is one of the best to have a thrower. I would personally even like to see a Dynamite being played here, Woody. I think that, having a wall break like a thrower here could actually be a really, really good strategic. That's Barley having that slowdown gadgets and various other things to his mechanics, the ability to heal, as well as provide more damage to your shot with those star power variations is a really, really solid choice.
I love casting with the Ark because you draw the perfect line between trolling and hype, asking for a Dynamite to come on out. I don't expect to see Dynamite anytime soon, but we do get a little bit of a brawler change here. Running BB on both sides. Just happened that they made a big of a brawler comp swap toward the Slambulance on the B4 Esports side, running with Poco as well behind. But it's going to be a bit more of a damage-oriented focus here for the Red Canids. Still running Mr. P and getting a ton of hits off with that Robo Porter, topping it off with a gadget as well to knock down B4 Esports. Their defense is having a lot of trouble holding up once again to the Red Canids.
Yeah, Red Canids doing a fantastic job right now with the aggression that we're seeing, and already it's B4 Esports back in a similar position as they were previously in here, forced on the ropes as B2 taking shots from Guico. That star power being not active means that he goes down very quickly here. Guico is shot, and this is surely going to be possible to finish, but no! Actually, the fire on the ground forces him back, and wow, B4 Esports.
And one more little bounce from Beto's bubblegum too.
Yeah, they're not out of the woods though yet. They've got to push back, and yeah, Red Canids looking very strong in penalty kick.
Beto is so fearless, charging straight into the enemy line and taking a ton of fire, but I don't know if B4 Esports is going to get rewarded for that sort of risky play here. A dominant showing from Red Canids once again, and now knocking down brawlers, but not able to get that ball past the goal line. Defenses for B4 Esports are having trouble keeping up with the offensive output of the Red Canids, but maybe once these walls go down, that Bruiser comp set up with additional heals from Poco is going to get a bit of a boost. 40 seconds left before that happens.
Yeah, I've got to say, for me, B4 Esports not going in with Mr. P is struggling here because of the amount of porters on the map. Revolving Door definitely much in play there by Parsival to just keep B4 Esports back here, and great to see from Red Canids. A bit of a slow start today, but now starting to really find their stride.
Yeah, these Robo-Porters are just so difficult to deal with. Not only are they dishing out damage, but they're denying healing opportunities, especially here for Beto at the right side. Guigo now forcing a charge in here, but getting shut down by Adino. That's not going to be an opportunity for Red Canids just here and now. Going to have to really distract Parzel out the left side, and he's done a great job of it. Red Canids now are on the defense as the ball possession for B4 Esports is going to give them the opportunity to strike again. A really aggressive gadget use here by Parzival, trying one more time to shut down the B4 Esports defenses, but Poco's heals are coming in so clutch for this squad. They're getting a lot of damage out, but look out, Guigo's going to charge in, uses his super, but Tufa will stand.
Just about standing, and now on 56 HP, not really sure what to do there.
Oh no!
Team go down. Red Canids are going to surely secure this with a final goal. My goodness me. They are coming back now, Woody.
Awesome job to the Red Canids. Seemed like that last attack was going to start to kind of fall apart, but with just a few more great hits there from Parzel, knock out the last remaining hit points on their enemies and drill it straight in. The team wipe gave them plenty of time to walk that past the goal line. Looking really confident in the last moments there. What a comeback in set number 2 for the Red Canids to tie this matchup overall, 1-1.
Yeah, the BB pick for me for B4 Esports was solely reliant on the Poco heals, and running batting stance as well is very risky because if you come across a Mr. P with Revolving Door, more porters on the map, if they lock onto you, you're going to have to use your attack to take them out, which gets rid of your shield, and that is why Beta was struggling so much with regards to staying alive despite playing BB, which is a pretty tanky brawler for the most part.
B4 Esports failing to get a single goal in that set, definitely gonna drag them down now as they're going into Heatwave, a map that's got a lot of bush coverage, and that 1 star, of course, in the center to try to claim early on. This bounty game mode is all about racking up the stars for your team. Each time you get a kill, you take the stars from your opponent, but every time you get a kill, you also increase the bounty on yourself, kind of re-establishing a bit more of a defensive play style once you get a lot of stars above your head.
Yeah, this is the thing. You've got to decide, also, you can't really choose what player is going to have the highest bounty. So it's not really like gem grab where you might want to have one particular brawler be carrying all the gems and have that be the risk taker. You've got to go for those kills. So when we see that happening, certain strategies do tend to form. Yesterday, we saw a lot of the Slambulance comp and going in for that spawn trap and trying to get a complete wipeout. But I think we could see Gene here today, actually. We haven't seen Gene at all yet. Gene is a very, very good brawler for this map, but not in this game, it seems.
Yeah, early charge from B4 Esports will claim the star at the center, and just like you predicted, it's going to be the Slambulance cop here. Poco, Rosa, and BB, really heavy brawlers out in front to bash through this line of defense. Red Canids is going to be moving in once again with a bow and a Mr. P charging at their supers right there in the center of this map, but using those roboporters crucially to clear out the bushes out the left side. Really big tactical advantage now for the Red Canids, even though they're behind in stars. It's going to be hard for B4 Esports to get a clear line of fire.
Gotta say, I really like this pick, this bow pick from Parsival. We've seen bow being played more today than I think we did at all yesterday. This is a great brawler here because the mines will break the bush, and Adinho playing Rosa is going to struggle when those bushes start to deteriorate. So the gadget as well is providing a lot of value for his team, and they all have super right now on the Red Cannon side of things.
Ooh, Adinho in a lot of trouble, got stunned by that mine, and another one explodes, taking him down. That's going to be a star lead now for the Red Canids. A quick charge out from Beto. Is that going to be enough to get the kill? No, Parzival's defense will hold on.
Yeah, before Esports being very aggressive, and I think they're not really in the position to do that, especially now with a 4-star lead to Red Canids, and everyone again has super, and this is a really gnarly position for before Esports. So Beta doing his best, but every swipe that he misses will take away that batting stance star power that he's running.
Beto beaten back by the Red Canids, a squad that has just had so much synergy in the second and the third sets now, not giving a single inch to a B4 squad that seemed ascendant out the first set. This defense from Red Canids is holding on strong, and with that totem down, charging up their supers, they are returning fire as about as strong as you can expect. B4 Esports makes one more desperate play, charging into the enemy spawn zone, but there's plenty of room to retreat here for the Red squad. That's going to be a decisive 7-3 win.
I've got to say, Woody, I am loving this from Red Canids. Slow to the mark, but now they are just establishing so much control in every game mode. The Slambulance comp is definitely not one that you really want to run into in Bounty, especially if you're not running a similar kind of comp. But being able to control that is what we saw from that last game, and I've got to say, I really like what I'm seeing right now.
They saw the shape of the water flowing at them, and they adjusted, bending and swaying with the breeze. Red Canids have got the exact right mindset here to take this thing down. Despite their set 1 loss, they have been really focused on the long game, making those right brawler picks and keeping the high level of communication necessary to get these wins. With just one more game win, they will be able to pull ahead against B4 Esports. But let's give some credit to B4 Esports. They're a team that's ahead overall on the leaderboard. They're in second place right now, and they're not going to go down without a fight. The change up in their brawler comp here might be just what they need. Picking Barley this time, Tufa is going to lose that first star in the center to the Red Canids, but will get a bit different of an angle now, trying to fire away at a Red Canid squad that hasn't yet been able to set up in game number 2.
Okay, going with Gale this time around, and we saw Gale being played on this map to perfection yesterday. So the question is now, can Tufa use that the range and the map disadvantage to get that takedown there and try to shut down that bow gadget earlier? We're going to see a super we should connect with that. Yeah, we are, which is a good start for them. Before Esports definitely need to not underestimate the effectiveness of that bow gadget, in my opinion.
It seems like they finally have been able to deal with that bow super now, doing a little bit of mind sweeping out there on the right side. Adino clears that out. No kills for either team yet, though, and this is starting to look like a bit more of a typical bounty game setup where a little bit of a star advantage for Red Canids, having grabbed the center control early on, is being countered by a B4 Esports squad that is setting up strong. RoboPorter's streaming out now from Adino and shoving Red Canids back into the bushes. Can they keep the pressure up? I'm not really sure. Weagle seems so strong with Carl in previous game modes, but Beto has just been dominant on the left lane this game so far, and I think that B4 Esports have got the lead, but they need to finish it off with a kill at some point.
This is the thing, exactly that, Woody. Before Esports have got Red Canids in a great spot, but are they able to finalize these kills? Because if, Red Canids can get some momentum to push back, then it avails to nothing. They've got to go in, and 20 seconds now on the clock. But a really important takedown for Red Canids as Greagle rolls in, but not able to get a kill, but just extending that lead then for Red Canids with 10 seconds left.
Parzival with the snipe is exactly what the doctor ordered for the Red Canids. B4 Esports making a heroic attempt here. Beto charging in, firing off that pickaxe, but no kills yet. Rebuffed and forced back. Another kill for Adinho going down. Gives the Red Canids a solid line of defense. That stone wall has held on, and it's a 2-1 lead now in the match score overall.
One set away then from taking this first matchup today. For me, there was a part at the end of that game where Beto had super and just kind of hesitated a little bit as the majority of Red Canids were very low, and Carl has the ability with those star powers to really survive those aggressive interactions. And if you're going to lose anyway, you may as well go out in style, right? And that didn't quite happen at the end of that game.
Oh yeah, no one's trying to go out in style this time around. They are putting all of their skills to bear here, doing their best to clinch out a victory even when it seems almost impossible. Red Canids with that snipe of Adino out on the right side was just what put them over the edge. I think that B4 Esports were trying their best to squeeze and push the Red Canids back into that top right corner, but with a little bit too much of an aggressive play from Mr. P, who is not that sturdy of a brawler. He really prefers to play behind those porters and get those long-range shots off. That is why Bo has been played so well by the Red Canids, giving just that additional little bit of range and area denial with that super. But let's see if they can keep it going with a Crossroads game mode. Now, Heist is going to be what we're playing next up. It's all about busting that safe down. And as we saw yesterday, this is a map that leads definitely to very fast-paced gameplay and base races that can end in a matter of seconds.
Oh, absolutely. We could be seeing this wrapped up very, very quickly here if we are to see a repeat of what happened yesterday. But here we go. Before Esports wasting no time at all, and already the BM from Red Canids is flying. So they are clearly feeling quite confident about this game mode.
Incendiary star power from Tufa working really, really well here. It's shutting down the attacks at the middle here. Adino's taking a few more shots, but he's going to defend against Kada as well. Red Canids have got the field advantage, though, somehow pushing B4 Esports back down to the very bottom of the map. But once those brawlers go down, it's going to be an opportunity now for B4 Esports to return fire, moving back up here. A big rocket rain from Tufa isn't rewarded. Parzival will retreat on defense and destroy Adinho. Just a little bit of chip damage earned by B4 Esports on that Red Canids safe.
Yeah, but chip damage goes a long way in the final seconds. We'll have to wait and see whether we get there sooner or later. But I do kind of feel like Red Canids are being very slow in their approach and very conservative. But on the right side here, Greagle just looking to find a space, not able to do so. So yeah, a different kind of approach we're seeing in this game. No bases, no base race early on for these two teams.
A hit on B4 Esports' safe has yet to happen. Red Canids have been forcing their way through, but not taking those early pop shots, instead preferring to try to get a team wipe that can allow them to get much more damage on that safe. But they've been chipped down into the 80s so far. Adino getting several more swings off and just really putting the pressure to Red Canids, a team that's finally been able to get in there. Here we go. Kada's fired away at the safe and gets the lead for Red Canids. That is the advantage of this sort of approach. Ark, boom, they get a strong strike right here with less than a minute remaining.
Yeah, don't underestimate Max in Heist. We saw Max being banned a lot yesterday, and this is the reason why. Being able to dash in on the safe and get this damage, and again, Kudu going in, supported by Parzival, who goes in with his gadget. Also, the damage now rolling in consistently for Red Canids.
A decisive strike for Red Canids, knocking B4 Esports down and hard right on their backs. I don't know if there's any chance for them to be able to come back at this point. They cannot afford to initiate a base race with opponents that close to their safe, and with so much of a damage deficit, I don't think it's possible for them to even push Red off of their safe. Great job here to the Red Canids, getting the win in game number 1.
Yeah, a very, very strong performance, and putting Red Canids now on match point is not a place that you ever want to find yourselves up against, especially in Heist.
Look, you can make small mistakes as long as you get the big wins where you need them. Red Canids behind for the first minute or so of that last match, but when they came back swinging. Huge supers from Parzival and a high damage output from Kata were exactly what the doctor ordered, knocking that safe down into, what was it, at the end, like 12%? Huge lead for Red Canids. They pushed and pushed really hard, not letting up a single bit of pressure once B4 Esports were down on their knees.
Yeah, in Heist, it's either your patience is rewarded or your aggression is rewarded. And in that instance, we saw patience. I wonder whether we're going to see a same approach in the next game mode and whether, you know, we might see some brawler changing to be kind of able to get this tied up right here and now.
All right, let's hop on in. I'm seeing a pretty similar setup here. Adino's going to make the swap for Max, though, apparently convinced that Max is just what you need in this really fast-paced map. Parzival and Kata both stacked up right on top of each other, and that's going to give an opportunity for Tufa to stack in a lot of damage, tossing that pickaxe, but not getting too many shots off here. An advantage for Red Canids to start off with, but a kill for Adino, returned by Parzival. It's going to be even Steven.
Yeah, I think opting to go with the max pick for the opposing team there before Esports swapping out Adinho for that max is going to help for sure. Definitely a good change, but, you know, Kadu has had the previous game to warm up to this brawl. It's the first time we're seeing it between these two teams today, and already look at this, some damage now going in for before Esports. Tufa trying to get the takedown as well, and Parzival, but goes down the left-hand side.
Ooh, unfortunate for Tufa. Got that boost from Max's super, but instead of charging in, tried to play defense and didn't get anything out of it. Knocked down at the left lane, and B4 Esports are going to be crying, wishing that they had pushed that a little bit harder, I think. Beto makes a little bit of a stab in there onto the safe, bringing the opponents down to 80%, but this is about the same place that we saw the last game go for. Red Canids is a squad that goes for those big, heavy hits, and here they're going to get one right now. Kata, uncontested, knocks the safe down to 73%, and that's going to be a lead once again for the Red squad.
Yeah, double max super pops as well. It is a much more frantic game than we saw previously with having two maxes on the field here. Parzival staying alive and getting damage here with Grieg on the right-hand side, and this could be a great moment, but a bit of a base race. Adinho as well, sitting on the Red Canids safe as well, Woody.
Yeah, no team has a clear advantage at this point. It seemed like Red Canids were pulling ahead, but B4 Esports are stacking the damage in as hard as they can. A bit of a sneaky play here from Beto, trying to distract out the right side. That's going to be just what Adino needed. Knocks the safe down with just 13% left on his own. B4 Esports have come back.
Not an early base race, but a base race nonetheless. And now, before Esports looking in a better position to just hold on. And actually, they just need this one next game in the bag to take it all the way. They are far from out now, despite Red Canids being on match point.
That is exactly what I wanted to see from B4 Esports. When they've got their backs up against the wall, are they going to go down playing meek and concerned and worried, or are they going to come back brave, forcing that firepower right back in Red Canids' face? That's what they did in game number 2, and if they do it again, we can see this go to a set number 5, Ark.
Yeah, the max pick definitely went in their favor, and now it's whether they do keep max and maybe add or tweak something on the other side, or just go with the same comp and just kind of keep that morale and that movements into the next game that are obviously, you know, it's a positive boost that they've just had. They've got to maintain it, though.
Can they go the distance? Game number 3 will decide that. It's a match point opportunity for Red Canids, but B4 Esports have got a lot riding on this as well, and they will be fighting as hard as they can to get that the second set win here against the Red Canids squad. Advantage on the right side for Guigle, a big lead. And wow, it's all 3 red brawlers on the enemy safe really early in this game, Ark.
Yeah, it's a Kata that was that right at the left-hand side lane, though. However, it was a bit of a back and forth And it does seem for me like Red Canids in a good position here and not really seeing the fight that we saw in the previous game from before Esports. More damage rolling in. 50% already is a big dent that we are seeing in the before Esports safe there, Woody.
Beto getting caught up in the crosswinds, and Guigle has just snuck around the bottom right corner uncontested now, wailing away at a safe that's down into the teens. Finally pushed back by Adino, but was that worth it? I don't know any way for B4 Esports to justify that sort of big hit this early on. They're down to 12, and they need to dish out a massive amount of damage, not allowing any red brawler to cross that line of defense.
Yeah, there really is no room for mistakes as then we see Adino go down on the right side, but look at this, people rolling in, but Guigle surely able to just finish this right here, right now.
No!
And 96 HP is all that is left on the before Esports safe.
And yet they stand. Parzival with the last shot gets it in. Once he got the jump, there was no stopping him. Red Canids take the 4th set and the match overall.
What a amazing final game. I love the ending, by the way. Parzival just using the Gale bounce pad to launch into that final shot. So ending things in style. It was a very, very sort of poor defense that we saw for before Esports, leaving Guigle on the safe. I think there for me was the mistake.
What a play. Congratulations to the Red Canids, behind but struggling back now. They've got 60 points overall on the leaderboard, but they will be claiming even more now with their victory over B4 Esports, taking a stab at the top team. INTZ, the monster in waiting, watches these teams and is ready to strike now. Falcone?
That was an insane, I want to use the word comeback. It's not particularly fair, but obviously B4 were able to take down that first set before Red Canids did make a big comeback. But either way, we're going to award our MVP for this one to Guigle. Guigle was fantastic as Carl in Bounty and was also really great as Gale, that we saw him play quite a few times as well. As Carl in Bounty, he was able to use the range on his attack and the speed of that super for some very nice victories, some very nice pushes, similarly to in the earlier games of Brawl Ball. Carl's super just seems insane right now. A little bit later on in Heist as Gale, Guigle made some even more aggressive pushes, did a great job of supporting the team, controlling a wide area of the map with his regular attack, allowing for some really great pushes on the safe. And then obviously that final game where Guigle just snuck around the corner and just wailed away at the safe, as Woody pointed out, was quite incredible. Here's the group for right now. Red Canids obviously sitting in first place with a 3-1 score. B4 Esports are going to have some catching up to do, but of course we're going to move on to INTZ, the team in this group that have not yet had a chance to play. They're going to be playing against our winners from the first match, Red Canids. INTZ represented by Mateus, Consti, Guido, and Marcel. Red Canids, of course, Guigle, Keda, and Parzival. And now it is time to talk about our two amazing teams, starting with INTZ, who we have not seen play yet today. Now, Consti says that the game plan for the team is to surprise opponents with unusual compositions. Well, we saw that go down pretty well yesterday, but with the new changes to the meta, I'm wondering what new weird picks are going to take the mantle today. Guido and Marcel both say if they could pick anyone else from any other team to join them, they'd take Guille from Clash. Apparently, they believe he is the best player globally. It's big talk, big talk. It's always great to see the players respecting each other and pointing out each other's pros. Let's move on to the other team, though. We have Red Canids one more time. Parzival had big words about his involvement in the team. He said, "I am the one who gives my opinions because I am the most experienced." He also said he is the best at keeping calm. Big words from Parzival. When asked what he thinks of his teammates, Guigle suggested that his teammates are lazy, but they all have a wonderful rapport. Well, I suppose we will put that rapport to the test in match number 2 that's coming up in just a few moments. I can't wait for this one. Casters, take it away.
Thank you very much, Daniel. We're going to be jumping into this next series, and I cannot wait for it. INTZ picking up their first match of the monthly final, going up against Red Canids, who just got their first victory of the month as well. It's looking good for this team, and also someone who's looking good is my co-caster, Woody.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Tridd. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. And great job to Falcone queuing us up. We have got an INTZ Goliath standing before us, but the David here and now from Red Canids, having knocked down their first opponents, are making an attempt to run toward the top. We're going to get the same bans as the previous matchup, INTZ banning Sprout, and the Red Canids kicking Jackie out.
Clearly not a fan of the Jackie, so they're just going to keep that permanently removed. Sprout, as we've already know, is just an incredibly powerful pick right now, so it makes no surprise to me that it's been removed. Having a look at our map pool, we're going to go Backyard Bowl, Deeper Danger, Double Swoosh, some Assembly required, and maybe, if we're lucky, go to distance and see Sandy Gems.
Yeah, we see a Brawl Ball map that's a bit more opened up than what we had last time around. That can lead for some more long-range options here. We can even see maybe some close-range hitters, too. Frank can work a bit better when there's fewer obstacles that he has to kind of work around. But it's anyone's game starting off with. Last match I said that whoever wins the first set has got a big advantage going on through the later stages, but it was a reverse sweep from Red Canids, having taken the loss in set number 1, but taken all 3 in a row right after that. What are your predictions here for INTZ versus Red Canids?
Ooh, it's going to be tough to say. I think Red Canids are looking particularly strong. INTZ have also been a bit of a powerhouse when it comes to the LATAM region, so it'd be hard to say, but we're jumping into map number 1, Woody, and looking at the compositions, I'm not entirely sold on bringing the Piper to a Brawl Ball match.
I love that we've got Nani in the action, though. A great swap out here for Red Canids, making use of that long-range power. Can deal a ton of damage if you get the perfect hit on there. But yeah, I'm liking Gale's Guido and INTZ running Piper with Marcel. That combo works extremely well. If you get the stun off and a long-range hit, that can often be enough to wipe out a small, squeaky brawler in one strike alone.
Well, they're going to use the jump pad to get behind the team. He's using that super, trying to set up a kill for Kato to get the shot on. Going to be enough to clear him out. Marcel passes to Guido in the back line of the Red Canids area, but they are going to get the respawn in time and fight them away, but they've lost so much territory.
Lots of nice hits from INTZ. They've pushed Red Canids all the way back into their spawn, but haven't had any supers to be able to knock these boxes down yet. As soon as Marcel gets that super charged up, expect to see him pop it right there in the center to give an easy shot on goal for the next attacker.
You can see what the thought process is behind this comp. As soon as they get that super online, break the territory, they're just going to send Consti in with the super, get some space clearance, try and see if he can take any of the Red Canids out, and allow Guido or Marcel to walk this one in.
Lots of great corner fire here from Keita as Nani, but
that's not what you want.
Yeah, big hits. INTZ Consti goes down, but they still have a big force at the left side. They're looking like they're going to commit to this push. Instead of trying to give up, they're going to charge straight in there. 2 weaker backline forces out in the center. Keita and Parzival are not giving away any ground to Guido, though, and that's going to be a kill. Nice job on defense there to Red Canids, but at what cost? They're all 3 down really low and struggling to push back against an INTZ squad with the clear moral advantage right now.
Great take out there from Parzival to find Consti, so that means that they can push even further out of their goal line right now and try and get into INTZ's territory. Porters are certainly going to help with that one, as Parzival will go forward. Now they're knocking on the door of INTZ, and they completely flip the script, Woody. Regal needs to be careful not to sit on that jump pad, otherwise he might relieve all that pressure.
No way for the Red Canids squad to knock down walls. They've just been waiting patiently for this opportunity to get that overtime in, but they're falling apart now, losing Consti over there and losing Guigle now. They're in a really difficult spot. Red Canids forced back into their own spawn, as once again it's going to be INTZ making an aggressive play here. Boxes are about to go down, Tridd.
Well, Marcel's got himself that goal. He's ready to get the shawl in. The overtime's there. Stun, tried to time it. But the ball was knocked back, unfortunately, so it's going to be in the middle of the field for the rest of Red Canids to move in on. You're going to have that 4th man, the Porter in the fight.
Guigle, the shot!
He gets it in the corner, and Guigle and Red Canids will take the first round.
You saw Marcel sitting with that ball, waiting for overtime to tick out, but at the same time, defenses holding up, shutting him down with a stun and knocking that ball away from him. Watch that replay right now, and you'll see exactly what I mean. sending the ball right back. I think Marcel actually fired.
No, he mistimed
away.
it. That's all
yeah,
it was.
he shot
tried
it too
to get
early.
the immediate shot through Woody, and he just did it a little bit too soon, so it bounced back and ruined the play. Another attempt they also tried to make earlier in the round. You saw it when they committed the Carl Super to go behind, try and relieve some pressure, also getting rid of that Mr. P dispenser as well to stop the porters from coming out. You then see the super committed by Marcel to try and get it behind the enemy lines and get an easy goal, but it's just a little bit off target. And after Carl committed the super, incredibly low as well, was going to end up going down, so he wasn't able to get that ball lined up for the shot on goal to potentially get that sneaky attempt.
Great job there to Queagle on the counterattack, though. Just at maximum range, fired away right before going down and got it just barely past the goal line. Perfect read on the exact tile placement that he needed to be at in order to get that shot off. Awesome job to the Red Canids, a squad really far behind INTZ on the leaderboard, but really showing up super well today, and especially in Brawl Ball, a game mode that INTZ has performed so very well at in past matches. You know, they've taken championships time and again in these monthly qualifiers, but they're looking weak now, Tridd. I don't know what to say.
Well, hopefully they're going to be able to correct that quite quickly as we move into round number 2. They haven't really changed it up themselves too much. You can see on the red side, they are going to stick with the same comp as well. So really, they just want to play this a little bit better. They're happy with the comps, just not happy with the execution so far.
All right, Kata going to be charging back in. Nice long-range hits from that Nani. Really impressed by how well that really high skill cap brawler has been played. You got to get all 3 of those bolts to land if you want to get the value out of that big long-range shot. And wow, time it again, just getting the hits exactly where you'd expect them to go. Kata has got a really good read on where his opponents are headed, and that's super tracking around the map now. Where's he going? All the way to the bottom and knocks Guido back.
You always forget how much damage that actually does. It sets up possible to get an easy kill with just one briefcase. And now INTZ are outside their goal. Marcel's low. He can't try and go for the contest here.
Wow.
Passes it back. Thankfully catches it and will play it nice and safe to relieve some pressure. The porter is still there attacking Guido. Marcel passes out to try and get his gun ready to fire on some of these targets to relieve that pressure. But Red Cannon's doing a great job of playing around the ball and the terrain for now.
How close the Red Canids were to almost scoring right there, and with 2 brawlers almost down, INTZ in a lot of trouble once again. Kata may be able to make this way back in with that Robo Reporter helping him out. Marcel's in a really tricky spot here, defending as best he can, and actually manages to get it off. I'd say Nani usually has the advantage in that really close matchup when Piper's not able to retreat and get that range advantage once again, but the Red Canids have been rebuffed and will not get the goal out the first time around here.
Okay, they're going to blow up the boxes just to try and get rid of this porter. It's dealing with a lot of problems. Parzival will pick up the kill into Marcel after he gets off the back end of that one. Couldn't escape the damage. Guido going low. Thankfully gets the kill to resolve it. Great super to cancel Guigle. He actually had the HP to walk that one in if he wasn't stunned up, so great reaction by INTZ.
Marcel pushing back with a shot from Consti will knock them down. That's going to be an opportunity for INTZ to return fire now. They've busted down their own boxes, and at what cost just to get rid of that Robo Porter. Here Consti's going to be moving on in to try to take the Robo Porter out, but actually doesn't make his way past Weagle, firing away on defense with a gadgeted Robo Porter. That's going to be excellent defense there from Red Canids up top. Marcel will bust down those boxes, but with only 20 seconds left to get that shot in before overtime, I'm not sure that was value just yet. Parzival will survive a big exchange out in the left lane with Guido, and that's a chance for Red Canids to counterattack.
Keep going in for Marcel, wants to try and force something out just out of range to get that kill or even that chunk damage. Didn't get the super out of him. I think that's what they were trying to bait out here to try and make sure they can leap over some of this terrain and get a clear shot on goal, potentially even the super pass as we go into overtime. But with the boxes down, the porter should end up going down. Stop those reinforcements coming in for Red Canids. Consti taking Guigle low, will be trading pickaxes back and forth, but Consti still has the edge. The empowered porter trying to relieve some pressure. They're still on the mid line, taking a lot of damage. This is where Marcel can come into his own on the Piper and start raining damage in as they force him into the other half.
Marcel is a monster without any obstacles to block.
Oh,
he takes
no!
the super shot, but deflected. Parzival catches it. The last line of defenses for the Red Canids holds.
Well, Consti's going to try and go aggressively. They're going to trade out supers. Guigle will end up getting the victory there in that engagement, but no one's closer to scoring a goal right now. 20 seconds left. Kata going to pass it down the line. Super by Parzival just to get the porters online. The reason he keeps doing that is so we can block out the shots from Marcel and turn it around with a briefcase. They're on the assault. Raspel has a clear line of goal. He has to get behind Guigle with the pass and gets it in. Red Canids will take round number 2.
Awesome job there to Parzival. Could have taken the shot himself, but instead went for the teamwork element. The toss over to Guigle for an open goal. Scores the first set in Red Canids' favor. INTZ fans are shaken right now. What can the Canids do in set number 2 if they get such a dominant lead against an INTZ squad?
So we saw a couple of engagements go in there, and one of the things I want to talk about, is we didn't cover it extensively, is the commitment of resources onto the dispenser to get rid of the porters. You saw a perfect example of how powerful they actually are in the bottom right-hand corner when we saw Nani trying to go into a fight against Marcel on the Piper. He was using the porter to block the direct shots coming in from Marcel and giving him a better chance of taking the engagement in the 1v1, and nearly killed Marcel. He dropped him down to 54 HP, but that wouldn't have even happened if the porter wasn't blocking him out. So that is why they're committing so many resources here, because it really does make it difficult for Marcel to get these shots if he locks on and constantly stays between the two brawlers.
Yeah, I was thinking that once the overtime rang through, those robo-porters were going to be going down time after time. They're just really easy to finish off when you're playing against they're really easy to finish off when you're playing as Piper without any obstacles to try to block for them. That super long range, getting a ton of beefy damage on every hit that he lands.
Yeah, but while
it seemed like it was Marcel's game to lose.
Yeah, while that is true, Woody, there's still ammo. There's still shots being taken at the porter that's not hitting another brawler, which is what they're trying to do. They're playing around the porters and basically using them as human shields to try and fight against it. While Marcel and the Piper can actually take them out very fast, I completely agree with you, it's still shots that aren't going to brawlers. Map number 2 coming on. We're going on to, I believe, what is this? It's Bounty. Sorry, I got completely mixed up about what map it was.
They're going to be rampaging through this little miniature city. Love the new game mode. Just got to give it a shout out there. But it's going to be Bounty on this map so far. We've got a Tick coming in for the first time in this qualifier. Lots of obstacles for him to play around and getting some great coverage on the bottom side of this map. Aggressive plays from Red Canids so far, grabbing the center star and knocking down Constantly for an early kill.
Well, Guigle is going to have to be careful about where he has. They send Guido over to deal with him. He's not going to be able to take cover behind the boxes. The briefcase will just go over the top. He's playing around the brush to try and get ahead, but he's forced back quite handedly. Territory already being blown up here by Tick, setting up the head first to make sure that happens. Guido and Marcel going down low. They'll sustain through, but they have not got territorial control. Red Canids in the lead after a kill and the early start.
Yeah, that's a big advantage for the Red Canids. The full control from Tick is just massive advantage here. Guigle doing a great job rebuffing an attempt from Kosti to charge into the center of the map. And with both the stars and center control, Red Canids are once again the team to beat in this matchup.
Locking Consti in the corner. It's going to be difficult for him to go out. Pickaxe traded by Guigle. Whoever gets that first round the cover is always going to end up getting the better of the engagement. He's away. Easy pick up there, Guigle. Able to find him with a little bit of help from Parzival. 2 supers on the board. The porters are in play as well. It's going to be really hard for INTZ to come back into this one.
Magic puffs from Marcel, just not enough to top off the remainder of this squad. And a big super storming through for Red Canids will send Guido back to the drawing board. Needs another angle of attack against a squad that has been able to dish out damage all over the map. The Red Canids have got 19 seconds left to defend, and they just are going to finally start pushing back toward their own spawn zone. Staying in the bushes, though, at the top. They're not going to give a single inch to INTZ without a hard-fought battle. And with that, the Red Canids not looking like they're going to drop a single brawler this entire game. Have got a 9-0 scoreline.
This is over, Woody. Red Canids had complete control of that game. And one of the reasons they were able to do that was that you were talking about angles of attack for INTZ. Well, everyone on Red Canids doesn't need direct line of sight to be able to deal damage. The only one who comes close to that is Guigle on Carl. As long as he gets an opportunity to throw the pickaxe beyond cover, he can immediately move into safety and allow that pickaxe to come back. You've got Mr. P throwing briefcases over the walls. You've got the Tick, who's also a thrower himself. They're able to deal so much safe damage on this composition, and there's lacking there. The reliance on the Gene instead didn't find any great pulls. That could have been a shutdown, but there was no opportunity for Marcel to try and change the pace of the game by getting a sneaky hand, because no one was in a position to capitalize, even if he did get that pull.
Yeah, you need a lot of close range damage being able to come out in a very short amount of time to make the most of those gene pulls. And with a little bit of a reduced range on the gene pulls and no idea where the opponents even were hiding out in those bushes most of the time, couldn't make the most out of a brawler who has actually one of the highest win rates in the game right now, but was struggling on that bounty map to make use of it. Tick is a brawler that we hadn't seen a whole lot this month in the qualifiers so far, but just found his perfect little niche in this map and was pushed to great advantage, firing off so many rounds and getting that super charged up basically back to back to back. Red Canids getting another early lead in this set and looking dominant against an INTZ squad that has so many expectations riding on this match.
Well, we're heading into the next attempt at this bounty map. That's what I like to see. That's the adaptation we needed Marcel to take with. Now that he's playing the Brock, he can bring the rocket rain, get rid of some of this cover, and make it a lot easier for them to try and take these engagements, because that's exactly what Red Canids are playing around. But they too have also changed it up. They've already lost the kill, Guigle's gone down, but they're playing with the Tara and the bow. Consti already feeling the hurt of that.
This looks like a Snake Prairie setup from the Red Canids, running both Tara and Bo. Lots of coverage into the bushes, and you see her popping her gadget there. That's going to give Red Canids sight beyond sight into every cover spot here on the arena, giving them the clear advantage in the field dominance right now, setting up in the center bushes and not giving INTZ a single inch. The fact that INTZ grabbed the early star and were able to get that little bit of a lead is a big move for them, but Red Canids having the midfield advantage is going to give them a lot to be happy about in going into the later stage of this fight.
Yeah, especially when they can get that bow super online and drop those mines everywhere. Going in for engagement, Guidu going low, will stay alive. He's got the reinforcements there. Guigle has got the super. Kader going in close, forces out Consti's super to get him back to safety and deter any further aggression. Not going to have that in the next engagement.
Clutch use of the gadget there from Guido, recharges that Robo Porter and beats him up for another push into the mid. Red Canids are struggling to hold on to center control now against a squad from INTZ that's dishing out a ton of damage. Sniper shots from Marcel over on the left lane are able to get Parzival back up into the very top line of these bushes and are giving the Red Canids a lot of trouble. They can't make use of these long-range bush vision tactics because the bushes are getting busted apart by Marcel. These supers are slowly turning the tide. Red Canids trying to find a kill to pull back ahead on the star game, but INTZ are holding the lead.
Look towards Kader. He's got the gravity in effect right now. He could pull a couple of members of INTZ and allow Guigle to go in there with his own super. There's the pull onto Consti. The clone is out as well, and they find the kill to get the lead with the stars. They immediately disengage. They do not want to fight this. Kader caught off guard, but there wasn't enough time, and Red Canids take bounty 2-0.
A wild finish for a Red Canid team that seemed to have so much difficulty in this second game. The swap outs on the brawlers for INTZ were working wonders for them, but just not able to justify on defense. And really surprising that Consti of all the characters was the one to go down. The brawler who's the beefiest on this INTZ squad and often tanking out in front for other players was actually the one who was finished off. Return fire from INTZ, as you saw there, a chance for Brock to get the counter attack, but Tara was actually sneaking down rather than back and out, and a great read for the Red Canids. A really surprise play from them there, especially against a Brock running rocket number 4. So many shots coming off from him, but not able to get the landing hits that they need. INTZ in dire straits now and needing 3 sets in a row to pull off a reverse sweep against a Red Canid squad that is eager for one more set win to claim first place in this region.
Going over the double swoosh next, but before we move on to that one, Woody, at the end, right-hand side favored for the Red Canids as they were heading down. While I agree with you, Consti was not the ideal target there because obviously he has that larger HP pool. It is surprising they went for the kill there, but that's where all of Red Canids' resources were at the moment. If we would have saw Tara try to yeet that gravity a little bit further apart, maybe try and pull someone in, there's no guarantee the reinforcements would have come in time to get that kill. So Consti, while not ideal, was the only option they had there at the end. And I'm glad you pointed it out as well. Great decision by the Tara to backstep and avoid the rocket rain from Brock. I just feel as though INTZ brought a composition to counter what Red Canids brought in round 1, and Red Canids kind of knew that was going to happen and changed it up themselves and got the better of INTZ back to back.
I think Red Canids were behind for most of that game and kind of made a risky play toward the end against an INTZ squad that had been dominant for the first 2 minutes. And it seemed like INTZ's game to lose once again, but Red Canids going on the offense against an INTZ squad that, you know, it's so tricky when you're ahead by just one little star. Your whole mindset just warps into this. I have to play defense. I have to hold on to my stars. You get greedy and you get really scared. And that's not what INTZ needed at that moment. They needed to be pushing back into a Red Canid squad that wasn't beefier than them. They didn't have stronger tanks. They did have a solid amount of damage being pushed out. But the advantage for this RC squad was that they had sight into the bushes. That wasn't an advantage that they could leverage with INTZ busting the bushes down for the entire game. So I'm surprised once again that the Red Canids were able to pull off a victory there, and INTZ have got a lot to think about in this third set. What can they possibly do to reclaim that high position that they've held for so long, Tridd?
Well, we're going into double swoosh, and that's going to have a similar playstyle to what we've seen already, a reliance on vision control around these brushes. It allows so much map mobility up and down. So you're going to see the bow, as we can already see. Marcel going back to the Piper as well to just try and force out Kada, who's already feeling the hurt. 55 HP, he did get that first gem and backed off immediately. And they've also lost their first super totem as well. This is not looking good for Red Canids, as they also lose cover. Marcel just did so much in the first section of this game,
wiping out a lot of the defensive advantages that Red Canids are trying to leverage here. That damage from Mr. P popping over the walls is just going to be a big stinky drop right in RC's front yard.
Totem number 2 down as well, Woody. They've now only got 1 super totem left.
Yeah, getting those gadgets out of play is going to deny RC the opportunity to get those supers charged up. Really crucial, especially when Guigle has been relying on that supercharging to get so much damage on the enemy backline. They're also playing a little bit backwards here. You would hope that Guigle will be able to get the better end of Marcel, but it's Parzival who's playing that left lane instead. Oh, Parzival.
Point blank range. Oh, yes, needs a super to get away. It's fine. The last super totem has been deployed right in the spawn room for Red Canids. So they have to play so far back to get any value from that. It's a super defensive play. They're getting picked off by Marcel. And now Kada, the last man standing in the middle of this brush. Thankfully, he could dance around that last bit of cover. But that's going to be taken out very quickly by Consti's super.
A really good opportunity for redemption now. Marcel had a lot of difficulty in that Brawl Ball map with his Piper shots just not landing the way he was expecting, but with all these bushes being taken down and there's kind of no obstacles to hide behind, Marcel should just be going on an absolute rampage in the left lane. Guigle shutting him down though. I don't know why Marcel is letting him get in range. He's firing back, but he's been pushed into the bushes, and Marcel, even though he's been doing a great job, has given a little bit of land here to the Red Canids squad. They just need one more gem to get it off, though, but Guido's forced back to a super from Bo. But with that kill, that has got to be it. INTZ are far
they've got
ahead.
Nothing here.
Get the win. There's no way for Red.
They've got nothing here, Woody, and they're just going to be able to knock them back. Consti going to have to play it one back, but they can't get on Guido. First round, just going to go over to INTZ.
Great job there to the Brazilian squad from INTZ, making a comeback now against this Red Canid setup, which had just been dominant in 2 sets in a row. Really impressive coming from behind here. This squad, I cannot repeat enough. The Red Canids have been outperforming expectations time and again. Every single chance that you think that they're going to slip up from some sort of weird brawler switch or playing too aggressively, they've been rewarded for it instead. This is what we love so much about Brawl Stars Esports, that even if you're behind on the leaderboards, you have still got just as much of a chance if you train hard and prepare for these matches. So that's why we hope that we could see anyone else joining in on this Brawl Stars Championship qualifying series for the next few months. If you want to compete, all you got to do is get a squad of 3 together and take your skills to the online ESL Play Championship qualifier, and maybe we can see some new names showing up just the same way that the Red Canids have this month.
Change of plans going to have to come in for the Red Canids when it comes round to this map. Their composition just isn't working this time around. They don't have the range. Marcel is going to force some changes of composition just because they feel like the Piper is the standout brawler so far that really Red Canids did not have an answer for. They're going to change it up again. They're going to keep with the Bo, the Mr. P. So Kada is going to move over to the Mr. P instead of the Gene. That's going to help him with a lot of this cover damage as they force them back. Super Totem in an inefficient place will get picked off immediately by Parzival, who's going to go drop his own in cover now.
Insistent for the Piper pick here. INTZ will continue that really aggressive play out in the left lane and shutting down Carl now. Marcel just needs one more little shot, but I don't know if he's got the angle on it. Guido gives him a little bit of help in the mid, and that's going to give INTZ control over the center. Once again, Kata pushed really far back and almost going down. An aggressive play from Marcel now will bust apart all of those obstacles. Beautiful super for an early Piper lead.
Guigel's trying to use the bush to get in close. There's no super for Marcel. He revealed himself with the shot and didn't find the connection, so Guigel will find him. Marcel being punished for his lack of accuracy. It enables Kata to go up absolutely fearlessly and grab this next set of gems. Guido going down low. Guigel doing his best to deny Marcel the vision, but will get punished by Guido. As Kata looks to get gems 5 and 6 on board. The Porter's going to deny him. He has an empowered one for himself. Try and keep Marcel away. A lot of gems available to be taken here on the dispenser. They're trying to move forward.
That's it!
The super's done. Guido's going to go around.
Heroic Berserker charge for the Red Canids as Guigel's super will take all the gems from the INTZ squad. They're retreating back into their own bushes, and that's going to be all she wrote. Clear on defense will hold for the Red Canids. Plenty of obstacles to hide behind, and INTZ have got no hope at being able to pull off victory here.
Yeah, 3 seconds remaining. There's nothing that Consti can do here. Can't get the angle in time. Kata playing nice and tucked behind that cover. So the Red Canids clap back. Not going to be defeated by INTZ for the second time in a row. It means we'll go to a tiebreaker for map number 3.
Clapping back, so you say, Tridd. Well done to the Red Canids squad. They were pretty evenly matched up through the entire game, but with that clever strike taking down Guido and leaving basically no defenses for those gems. Red Canids saw an opportunity and they made the most of it. Well done to them. Fortune favors the bold, and they were certainly bold in that strike. That super giving so much mobility to a Carl who was able to grab the gems and then retreat back to their own spawn area. Lots of hit points for a big beefy brawler like that to be able to recover and hold on strong. It actually seemed like there was a chance there for INTZ to reclaim with some bow shots out the left side, but I don't know if they'd be able to grab the gems and get all the way back. Red Canids were far in ahead, favored to win after that last exchange.
Yeah, just because of its cover, the bow would have put himself in an incredibly difficult position to get that kill. You are right, Woody. It would have just delayed the inevitable. It would have had to be some Herculean play to be able to get those gems out of the spawn room. They would have to have reset the timer a couple of times to make sure they had enough to generate the 10 gems to force a contest as well. Yeah, I agree with you. There was no real out at that point.
Right. Well finished off and with an even score right now on this set board. Red Canids have now got an opportunity to make this match point close out a 3-0 against INTZ. It would be a huge upset for the Red Canids to have lost their first set today against B4 Esports and then to take the win there and then to come back even stronger with a 3-0 finish of INTZ. This would be the storyline for the entire weekend if Red Canids go back-to-back.
Back-to-back, getting themselves a guaranteed first place as well. That would have been huge for them in terms of banking some points and banking some prize pool. So we're wishing them all the best. They move into the next round, but INTZ aren't usually the team who rolls over. They will try and fight back in this final round. Marcel, the question lies around him for me. Will he stay on this Piper? It seems Red Canids do have the number on that.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. Piper has been really working out pretty well for INTZ early on, but Red Canids are finally finding some ways to work around that. Really aggressive use of Carl out in the left lane was able to push Piper back finally this time, but I think that it's a bit of a risky play trying to just shove it right back in their face. INTZ's Marcel is one of the best Piper players in the game right now, and you don't want to joke around with him. One little small error and you can get 2,000 damage just thrown in your face from one shot. A few more pop-offs and INTZ will hold control of the entire game. That's what we saw in game number 1. Marcel using that super really, really well to deny coverage for the enemy team and being able to take them down for a pretty decisive win. Whether or not that happens in game number 3, only time will tell.
Set point could be on your screens right now as we head into round number 3 of Double Swoosh. And I'm looking towards the compositions. No change from Red Canids. And Marcel is going over to the Gale, so we have seen that adaptation come in.
Interesting move here. Gale also getting a lot of playtime in this qualifier, but not quite as much of a long-range pick here. Marcel going for more bush coverage with this Gale, who's got a really wide berth on his attack, firing away into those bushes and trying to connect, but not really getting much luck yet against an RC squad that has been setting up in such an aggressive position time and again in these games. Parzival out the left lane, it's got his totem set up at the back, but with those mines, it's going to deny constantly the opportunity to get hard pushed into the left lane. Those bushes out on the left side are kind of useless now at this point with so much range for the Red Canids squad to be able to fire into them. There's kind of nowhere for INTZ to hide except behind these walls, but the Red Canids behind in gyms are starting to finally kind of push back and take advantage of this field setup.
Big difference on these two teams is that while they are both running a Carl, Marcel getting stunned up there is not going to help him, but the Gale has great disengage potential with the Super. So when we're going to see Guigel attempt to go in with his Carl, he can get disengaged upon really quickly to buy some time. Consti does not have that problem. There's not really a disengage tool on this side of Red Canids. If you can get that Super online and get into the back line, he can wreak havoc. It's just not something that Guigel's going to be able to do. Guidu now on 7 gems to the 5 of Kada. Going to get that 6 as they have to back off in the natural ebb and flow of this map.
INTZ taking their time to try to set up in here, using that gadget. Guidu is going to get a
Guigel going in
to even things out, but Guigel is going for a huge charge in there. Takes down Guigel for those big gyms.
Conti, no!
Done it again. Huge 15 total for Red Canids, and this is about to be the end of the match, Tridd.
Consti's going in. He just has to try and use his Super to do a gap close, but there's too much damage from Red Canids. He's not going to connect, and the match is over. You had the tools with the Gale, and you just did not have that Super online when you needed it most. You allowed Guigel to go aggressive and did not have your answer online to do it. Look at that. No Super for Marcel. Guigel's just in your backline. Consti's too far away to support at this point. Stunned up by the bear snare coming in from Bo's traps as well. Guarantees they had enough time to bring in the support from Kada and Parzival, and guarantee they can get out with those 7 gems Guigel valiantly went into the backline to get. Red Canids fantastically played in that last round.
Killer job to the Firefox squad. Awesome plays by Red Canids, taking a 2-0 victory in this match score. They are your champions for the LATAM South region. And take a look at the baseline stats here. Big advantage for INTZ on damage dealt, but not able to keep it up in terms of holding on to those gems. Sneaky plays from the Red Canids, knocking down the gem carrier for INTZ multiple times and really doing so well in the late stage of each of these games, despite INTZ having great setups each time. So let's throw it over to Falcone to close this one out.
I am so impressed by Red Canids' performances today. Honestly, every single match that we've seen them in, they've just performed and performed and performed. We are going to award our MVP player of the game to Parzival this time around. We saw him as Bo, Mr. P, Tick, and honestly, there was so much good about his gameplay. As Mr. P, we saw him in Brawl Ball, not even necessarily take the shots, but really set things up nicely. In Bounty, he didn't give an inch with his tick mines, covering his teammates beautifully and preventing opponents from moving forwards. Then with Bo, it was the same story again. And later in Gem Grab, he just outright prevented INTZ from grabbing any of the gems. And there you have it. It was just phenomenal performances from Parzival across the board and Red Canids. They are going to be the winner of the group. As we take a look at the bracket right now, you will see that Red Canids have won both of their matches with a 2-0 score. 6-1 set overall. And now, while before have a slight advantage over INTZ, as they did manage to take one set against Red Canids, it's all about this next match. It is all about this next match. Here it is. It's going to be INTZ up against B4 Esports, Matthias, Consti, Guido, and Marcel up against Tufa, Luca, Bito, and Eden Ho. This is the match for second. First place has been claimed in this group. It now all comes down to this. Your first team is INTZ. Now, this information was taken back when the monthly finals began, so do take it with a pinch of salt. But INTZ claimed that the team they're most afraid of globally was CLASH. Consti wanted to point out that his superpower is that he can spin. Like, he can really spin a lot. I hear that spin to win is a legitimate strategy, but is it really necessary now that we've got emotes in games? I guess that's one for the philosophers to discuss. Let's take a look at the second team. It's going to be B4 Esports once again. When asked what their strategy was this year, Edenho said that his strategy is to win every month. He also described his teammates as the best players in Brazil. Big words, considering the entire group is made of Brazilian teams, as Woody pointed out earlier. Edenho also claims that his superpower is predicting opponents' compositions. Well, that is extremely important, especially with the balance change that have just taken place. Compositions are more important now than ever. Is it going to pay off? I guess we're going to find out with our casters. The final match of the group is underway.
Thank you very much, Falcone. And what a day for Red Canids. Absolutely knocking out the competition. And yeah, really, really fierce stuff from them. But I cannot wait to see now INTZ versus B4 Esports. It's going to be an exciting game to watch nonetheless.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Congratulations to Red Canids walking away with the victory. There's still to play for, though. Second place, third place. There are differentials in prize money and points as well. So these teams are not going to be super deflated and try and give up because there is still stuff to play for. Let's take a look at the bans. They're going to come up on your screen. So we have Gale being taken away by INTZ and B4 Esports making sure we do not see Sprout once today in the LATAM region.
Yeah, Sprout is definitely receiving the ban hammer pretty strong this weekend. I think Sprout's not in a bad place now since the nerf, but definitely players are still wanting to eradicate him from the mix. And Gale, having had that recent buff, is definitely a top priority for the ban side of things. Moving straight in to Bounty's our first set up, and Heatwave is going to be the map Tridd.
Yeah, then moving over to Tornado Ring, Super Stadium, Minecart Madness, and Olive Branch to close it out if we make it that far indeed. Heatwave first. So what have we seen on Heatwave so far? A lot of play around the brush, so we may see some Rosa coming in. I know you love a bit of that Ark, and also maybe a little bit of Tara, a little bit of Bow. Typical prairie brawlers that we usually see may come out here on this bush-heavy map.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Mr. P here as well today already. We've seen some Slambulance comps, but also some more ranged comp, but no Gene really much on this map today, which is kind of surprising to me, as it's very heavily played here in the more European scene, but definitely opening up the doors to a lot of options in this particular map. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we'll be waiting to find out as we're getting ready to jump into that matchup with B4 versus INTZ. INTZ, of course, just having a bit of a heartbreaking defeat against Red Canids in that previous series. Couldn't quite find the action with Gale, and they've decided, hey, we can't really use Gale right in that instance, so we're just going to get it off the field. Does mean that we have the likes of, I'm trying to recall the bans we've had so far, with no Sprout still in play. The Sprout's not in play. What was the other ban we had?
We had Jackie ban.
Jackie's now in play.
Yeah, Jackie's going to be in play, and also Carl is being played in almost every single game, but very much not on the ban list. I don't think we've ever seen a ban for Carl, so players definitely wanting to hold on to that brawler pick, as that does sometimes come into the mix. You know, do you want to eradicate a brawler, or do you actually want to use one to your advantage? And I think look out for Jackie, especially on Heatwave, and players that are choosing to opt for Carl as well, putting a lot of pressure on those side lanes.
What is Jackie if not a slightly better Carl? In my opinion. I'm just thinking about how much pressure like Carl and Jackie's was. Obviously, Carl has the range with his pickaxe, able to get that damage off, have the fast reset depending on how he positions himself around terrain. But ultimately, you're looking for Carl to go in aggressive with the super and get up close and personal with brawlers, and he's limited by the time frame he has with his super. Now, Jackie has that damage to boot, has a super as well to increase those resistances, so we'll have a larger uptime with how quickly she can get in the face of enemy brawlers. So if you're looking at it from that objective to bring Carl to a fight, Jackie is definitely a superior version of that. in light of what you said, Ark, I think we could see a lot of Jackie in this next series because of that.
Yeah, Jackie's a great brawler to combine with Rosa in the Slambulance comp. And I mean, Jackie and Carl are both from the gem mines, so very similar, but one being slightly lower in HP, able to sort of shoot from a distance, and one being much tankier in HP and able to get close up and personal. And Jackie's gadget with that speed boost, look out for that. You get 2 instances to use that before
recently
being
nerfed.
Yeah, recently nerfed down to 2. So you know, that is definitely one thing to look out for. And closing the gap is definitely what you want to be doing with Jackie. So I think what it comes down to for me going into Heatwave is you know, whether you go for the Slambulance comp or whether you go for the range comp. And if you do go for the range comp, you've got to be able to break up the map quickly to be able to shut down the advance. If you get spawn trapped in a ranged comp versus the Slambulance, that is when you're going to suffer most.
Well, we'll find out what's going to be brought to the field as we jump into game number 1. And we got the Carl still being played, Marcel on Mr. P, Guido on the bow. Looking at the other side, mirror composition for B4 Esports. Super Totem being deployed early by Tufa to try and get an edge over their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, Bo making another appearance again by Tufa. We have seen Bo and also Guido as well playing Bo on this map today. It's kind of definitely seems to be a go-to brawler pick for this particular region, maybe arguably more than most, but it was played to very good effect earlier today and will provide a quick super to your entire team if they are sitting within that totem radius that you see there.
The Dino going to backtrack around. He wants to try and get those porters online fast, getting whatever supercharge he can. Tufa going to commit another one just for that. Immediately cancelled out by the super from Guido. He just wants to shut that down. Tufa stunned up. One shot will hit. He couldn't find the others. Guido not at the right angle to capitalize. But it does mean that B4 are going to lose so much map control right now.
Yeah, this is the thing, and actually, I think INTZ could have even been more aggressive in their push, Marcel, popping that super a bit far back, actually, for me. Running Revolving Door is actually an ideal place to put it more aggressively. So, but here we see, actually, before Esports pushing back now as a result of that, and, you know, before Esports are in the lead here, so, you know, this is a good chance for INTZ to capitalize here.
They're going to play defensively. The porters are going to get value just because INTZ are entering this territory. They have to chase after B4. They don't have the star lead because they were able to grab it early. They are boxing him in. I'm looking towards Mateus, who's probably going to hit the go button on this super if it goes on for too long. He's going to need reinforcements from INTZ to make it happen. 20 seconds remaining, and they're trying to target that porter at the back.
Yeah, but now look at Marcel's placement of his super now being much more aggressively so. In Matthias now might be going to super. Beats is very low here, and needs to be very, very careful. He might go down. The pinch is on Matthias is going in.
There we go. He has to go for it.
Beto is going to give INTZ the lead.
No, the cancel! Dino found it right at the end on 84 HP. The briefcase that sealed the deal. Oh, Beto nearly threw the map for Red Canids, but Adino says, no, don't worry, I got this, and brings it back at the last second with a valiant effort.
My goodness me, all eyes were on Matthias there to make sure that that kill happened in the final seconds. What a amazing first conclusion then to the first game here with a quick end turnaround for Before Esports. Wow.
Yeah, extremely fast turnaround. Looking at the replay there right at the end, that drop down to 84 HP was just one of the bow traps being deployed. Now, unfortunately, by the time the stun triggered, Mr. P was actually in cover when he was stunned, so no one had a clear line of sight to get that finishing blow and swing it at the last second back in INTZ's favor. Just unfortunate timing where that stun came into place.
Yeah, and INTZ had a great amount of control throughout this entire game. They just left that spawn pinch a little bit too late. They need to be a little bit more aggressive in that approach and try to get an early spawn trap push and then retreat. And, Tridd, we'll just take a look at that. I think it's your favorite brawler, mate.
Tito being played. Well, it's not as frustrating now because finally the Mortis mortality rate has ended, so we know exactly that Beto on this Mortis is going to be beatable. Already got the pinch going in. The first star grabbed early for B4 as well as they're looking to get onto Guido on the back line. The Super Totem is in cover. They're trying to protect that one. They don't want it going down too early. Tufa has taken control of the Carl in this instance as well. And they're going to stick with the Jackie. So this is a very up-close and brawly composition coming from B4 Esports.
Yeah, just a little tiny detail to know. I think Beta's running, yes, we are going to see Coiled Snake is the star power. I was wondering why Beta was taking such a long time to take out the bow totem, and it was because by using his attack, he will eradicate that extra length to his dash, and a quick turnaround there for INTZ, giving them a little bit of a...
No, the Porter! Oh, that's disastrous for B4. The Porter able to run down members of B4, and then Guido picks up another kill as well. 8-1 in favor of INTZ. You usually see the Mortis come out to try and get some kind of cheese, and that's what he's going to do on Guido. But the Porter might be the MVP in this map as he's trying to hunt Beto down. He won't let him get away, but the heals have started to begun, so he is safe. But I'm looking towards Adina, who's incredibly low himself. INTZ or INTZ have control of this map, and they have the star advantage as well. They're going to need a deep dive from B4 to come back into this one.
Those pesky Porters persist in tracking down Beto, but able to survive. Beto is one of playing a brawler which is actually very aggressive, but not really when you're behind. But look at this going down here with a great little moment there.
Oh, no!
And the lead now switching back over to INTZ just as quickly as it came in their favor.
Another kill needs to come in. Marcel wouldn't go down. Beto couldn't find it, and INTZ take round number 2. The point I was trying to get out in that series arc was that you usually see the Mortis coming to catch teams off guard, but when you're having this we need to get in your face dive composition, so like they're putting so much stock in that, and INTZ were able to play around it so well themselves. It feels like they had Beto's number, and he's just tanking the Mortis stocks right now.
Yeah, but it did turn around very, very quickly. There was a moment there actually at the end where I felt that before Esports had it in the bag, and then a quick counter kill meant that it did shift back. And watching these two teams compete in Bounty is very much a back and forth affair.
Absolutely, and I expect more of the same as we're getting ready to head into round number 3. I don't expect we'll see this composition come out from Red Canids again. I feel it is incredibly risky, and I feel it's something you could only do once without getting countered.
Yeah, I think the more traditional approach of a Mr. P, a Carl, and maybe back to a Bo mid, or we haven't seen Gene again. I do think Gene is viable here, but the Bo, Mr. P, Carl pick is a solid one for sure. So I think more likely to go towards that, or something like a Slambulance to bring out would probably benefit them in this position now.
Yeah, I feel as though with the Slam, you might have a bit of difficulty because of the terrain. Yes, you can get Poco's heal out, but his regular attacks aren't going to be able to find back's value because there's so much terrain in the way. So I don't know if you could actually run the Sand Boots effectively on this map in particular because of how broken it is.
Yeah, it didn't dwell well earlier today. We have seen already on this map, but it's one of those comps that if you are able to use the walls to your advantage to push up the map, it can be viable. You're rightly so there with Poco. It does provide a couple of instances where it's not ideal for this particular terrain.
Absolutely, and they're going to see back to a more traditional comps. Guido will draw first blood this match. Beto looking to get onto the back line. Guido going down low, gets the super totem. One more pickaxe should do the trick as he throws it out, and he finds it at max range to equalize the scoreline.
Wow, an early draw then at the moment. Not often that you see both teams on 3 at this stage. A few quick interactions and a grab of the star, but I think this game is going to definitely not end there. We're going to see some more kills and deaths. Very aggressive plays there. Matthias going on this left-hand side that gets the takedown on Tufa, and now...
he has to equalize.
Yeah.
There you go, he's managed to find it. Also getting a kill. Beto looking to find it. He's on 4 stars now. Guido wants to find a kill. Blocked out the rocket arrows. He's not going to find that kill. So B4 have the advantage, and now they want to take control of the map.
I've got to say, I'm loving seeing Carl making his comeback into the competitive meta, and these back and forth supers, as you see, do provide a quick turnaround in Bounty, and Beto now rocking the 4 stars is definitely going to be a target that INTZ are going to want to focus their attention on and get that takedown.
Marcel wanted to get that last briefcase in to just get rid of the dispenser, but he's forced back too early there. That last briefcase will do the trick. He's going to be able to get those kills in. Has his own dispenser live. Super totem in the back right as well for Guido and the rest of INTZ to play around. 3 stars left. So just can swing back in INTZ's favor, especially if they find Beto. But going to be taking out the Porter. This super totem's going down as well. They're backing into the corner. 20 seconds left.
Yeah, this is a dangerous spot now here, but before Esports, despite having the lead, the spawn trap is coming in, and Matthias is going on the left-hand side now.
He's going for a Dino. He hasn't got a kill. The off-flag won't get it. Beto, he gets it in the end, but Beto's going to go in. He escapes off the spring platform, and this could be a draw. Valiant escape. You didn't see it coming. Mateus brings out the time. We're going to round number 4.
A spot at the end. I think that if Marcel's shots did hit, I'd have to see the replay to see, but I think if those shots, the remaining 2 shots before the end of that game hit, it might have been a different story, but nonetheless, a draw in motion, and we're going to be playing again for this 3rd round.
Bayo's aggression there. You see his great escape earlier in the round. Let's take a look at the replay. As you were saying, and Mateus gets away. Marcel's final shots weren't able to connect there, so the great escape did indeed happen. 20 seconds until we should be getting into our final round, unless, of course, we have another draw. It is possible on Bounty. We've just seen it, and it will potentially happen again if we're lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, the brawler pick of Mr. P here is working out so well for both of these teams. Countering the boat mines as well is another great attribute to that super. And there's no hiding from them, as we saw with the Mortis pick. So a really, really good brawler here. Definitely showing one to bring in this time around as well, in my opinion.
Bringing it back out again, same comp for INTZ, B4 Esports. Let's see if they've changed it up. No, they're sticking with the same as well as we jump into our 4th attempt at this map.
Yeah, 4th time around. It does feel like it's actually gone on longer than that, but a quick early takedown from Marcel and juking to avoid those shots from before Esports will give INTZ an early lead.
That engagement's so difficult to take in a Mr. P versus Mr. P battle. Once the first connection comes in, great pickup there by Mateus to extend this lead for INTZ. But once that engagement happens, you're constantly forced to walk forwards because of the second tick of damage from the briefcase where it bounces off the top of your head. But of course, Adino couldn't go much further forward, otherwise Guido would have had line of sight to finish him off anyway. So when he was forced to retreat, he takes the second tick of damage from Marcel. The first Mr. P to blink in that engagement is the one that does go down.
Yeah, this is the thing. And Mr. P is in a great place now since the balance changes. We're going to be seeing him a lot more today. I have no doubt on that. But INTZ still holding a pretty substantial lead. If Matthias goes down, they're still going to be in the lead by 1 star. So a lot of work needed to be done here for before Esports. If they are going to be able to close this gap, they've got to start getting a couple of kills, getting a takedown on Marcel or Guido, and then just the final cherry on the cake to bring this one home.
Beto's trying to find a way in the left-hand side to try and get on Matthias, that big, heavy target they want to try and take out. Guido's going to try and get some of those traps down. 20 HP on the Super Tome, but it is enough. Empowered Porter onto Marcel. There's the first connection. Second briefcase won't find it. Porter actually in a very exposed position, but Adino can't contest. Empowered Porter chasing him down. One more shot might be able to take him out here. He needs to do something about the Porter. He deals with it just in time. 15 seconds remaining. The kills have to come in here for B4 Esports as they're trying to get the pinch on. Pickaxe goes through, finds Marcel. They need one more to get it. Matthias on the back line. He's going to escape with the 2 stars. They're on the hunt. Tufa trying to go for it. They can't get the pinch in time. And INTZ will take the map 2-1.
What? An amazing end. If you break that down, Matthias was literally running for his life there as before Esports were trying to track him down as he had a massive bounty on his head to capitalize from, and just narrowly surviving in those final moments of that game. INTZ played a risky game at the end of that one.
Absolutely. Matthias, in both occasions for the INTZ win, were able to just have these amazing escapes by getting onto the spring shots and shooting himself down the map to get out of danger. First time, it was getting away from enemy territory. This time, it was getting rid of occupied territory.
Yeah, 29 stars to INTZ, only 28. A small, very, very narrow difference between both of these two teams. And, moving forwards into these next games, it's going to be very interesting to see which of these two teams start to break through. The next map up, though, however, is going to be Tornado Ring. Heist very much bringing in a different dynamic than Bounty, much more erratic kind of gameplay that we see often with these base races. So a very, very different set of circumstances going into set 2.
I wonder if LATAM's taken a look at the strategy of implementing the Gales here, where you have the 2 beefy brawlers and you play around the spring shots to get on top of the safe. That'd be an interesting strategy that we saw yesterday. It was quite unique to the fact that Gale exists. We could also find that coming into these particular maps if LATAM have decided to play that flavor.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the bans, though, is like, you know, that Gale is one of those brawlers which we're not going to be able to really see on this particular map, and Sprout as well, you know, with those blocking of those channels is a very dominant brawler to be used in Heist for sure. You know, for me, I think we're going to see, we might even see a bit of Nita bringing back into the mix with Hyper Bear. We haven't really seen too much of that. We saw a little bit yesterday with Clash, actually, and that did work to great effect. But again, you know, you've got to have your super. If you're not on the safe with that super, then you're not really that much of a risk.
Yeah, absolutely. And great correction there. I forgot that Gale was actually banned in this matchup, so there's not a chance of seeing that composition at all. I agree with you. Probably going to see some Barley as well. Typical thrower that rears his head in these Heist game modes. Needs a bit of an escort to get down the map and actually find that value, though. So if we were to see a Barley in play or something to escort the Nita into position, what do you think we'll be looking at?
Bring him, Max.
And don't look at the screen before we say it.
I am not. On my screen there, I'm looking here. I would say bring him Max. We've seen Max time and time again on Heist, and we are going to see it twice. I knew you'd be looking at my eyes to see whether I was cheating there, Tridd. But yeah, I think Max for me is a really, really solid choice. B, great to see B actually here, as she is very, very dominant here as well. And if Marcel plays her correctly, will get a lot of value. Already good shots, and Beto weary as a result of them.
Find it. Oh, didn't find the empowered shot, but Matthias is there. The pullback from the pickaxe gets him after left. So he will have his own vengeance just because of the path of that. No one making any serious moves for the time being, Ark. Everything's about this mid-control. No one's pushed that line back to the enemy safe or found a way to break through it themselves. That is until we just see Tufa getting absolutely deleted by an empowered shot from Marcel. It's going to be Beto exactly the same. Picks up that super to slow him down. It allows Guido to get there in range and get some cheap damage in on that safe.
Yeah, a fantastic start. Look at Matthias as well, just shutting down Edenho on this left-hand side as well, and they're getting really good angles, and Guido's damage, speed boost rather, just providing so much difficulty before Esports to connect with. And now look at this, Guido just getting tons and tons of damage raining down. What a great start this is for INTZ.
Even more beautiful by Marcel, Ark. If you didn't catch it at the bottom of the screen, he used his super to slow down the retreat from Beto and Adino to get in there and reinforce. There's a Carl spinning around the safe, so even more damage coming in. But Marcel just extending the time that Guido had on that safe uncontested.
Yeah, really, really great first early plays here, and again, Heist is such a fantastic game mode, so different from Bounty in the respect of just watching these teams just rushing around, and very frantically so. It's very, very enjoyable to watch the chaos that unfolds here.
Guido's going to go down here. This is the opportunity for B4 to get some damage on the safe. It's just Matthias alive. He doesn't have the super, but Beto does, and he's going to roll into him. Keeps a hold of it for now. They dropped it down to 64%. One more of those offenses will be enough for B4 to clinch this out.
Porter for the win, Tridd. That Porter got so much damage left uncontested. And now a much closer game, only 10% in it, thanks to that Porter.
Line of sight.
And Yep. Good defense, but INTZ now a chance to push up and even extend. It's so close, 2% in it. One shot on the safe. It's going to make, this is...
You can see Tufa. Tufa's making a beeline. They're trying to body block Marcel right now. They will get that kill. If Tufa can find line of sight, perfect body blocking. He won't be able to equalize it. It's going to be INTZ take this first round. Great micro play from both teams there at the end.
What a close finish, though. I mean, at the beginning of that game, it seemed so one-sided, and at the end, just the complete opposite of that, down to the wire.
Absolutely, you can see it here, Guido. Look at that, the slow there, turn, get the reinforcement. Tufa has free line of sight on the safe there to bring it down. See if we can spot the Porter come in as well. No, we won't have a replay of that. But at the end, they're going to get wiped out as both teams just playing protect the safe at that point, because every percent, there was only 3% in it, Ark. Couple of shots from a max, or maybe an empowered B shot. That's it. That's going to be the difference maker in that engagement.
Yeah, and INTZ really want these points, having such a great lead. They want to maintain as much as possible, especially considering that Red Canids will leave today with maximum points. So that they definitely feel the urgency that is upon them. As before, Esports have qualified for next month as well, and going to give them a serious run for their money today.
We're hoping so. We're getting ready to jump into round number 2 of Heist. And I really like the B decision there. It was used perfectly by Marcel. Lots of use and value to facilitate the rest of his team. And just that raw damage coming in, it's just something that B4 couldn't handle.
Yeah, and B's been a really dominant brawler in the meta and hasn't really received much in the way of balance changes, but some indirect nerfs potentially, as a lot of other brawlers kind of seem to be more favored now as a result.
But needs health. Theo needs help. He's not there. Marcel chunking him, and now it just frees up a beeline from Matthias to go, and he turns his attention to Adino instead. Gets himself the super. Bio has to keep him in check, but Marcel's here to deal damage. Pickaxe goes in. Matthias can go in with the super if he has more HP. He's going to wait it out. Adino locking him in this box with his own damage. Trying to wait for time, but he will finally get that kill. Early lead to INTZ.
Yeah, gotta say, I really like that play between Marcel there on that left-hand side and Matthias, just allowing Matthias to heal whilst Marcel took the lead and took the takedown on Beta. Was a great decision there. And now look at this, INTZ still continuing this pressure, slowly pushing back on before Esports. I wonder whether that takedown will slow that process, but it doesn't seem to be. And INTZ looking very strong right now in Heist.
Guido really hard to get out of that spot right there. He has to play back from the cover to make sure that the briefcase will not go over the wall and hit him, exposes himself easier to Adino's angles and make sure he gets those directs. Now Tufa's got a free couple of shots, especially now that he's deleted Guido. Perfect line of sight, but he's not doing enough to equalize just yet. This is where Beto's going to come in with the super, trying to find Matthias before he commits to this one. The Honey's going to be dropped down to slow him down, but Tufa will still find the angle to get the shots in. Guido taken out as well. This is not looking good for INTZ. B4 have complete control of the safe area, and that kill comes in. Beto is going to go in here with the super. Huge damage onto the safe. There's nothing they can do about it, and they're still locked in their spawn.
Yeah, amazing turnaround before Esports are absolutely destroying the INTZ safe right now. And look at this continuous shots. Finally, Tufa goes down. How long was he around for in that onslaught that we just saw?
Guido has to make a beeline for the safe right now. They're not going to have a chance unless he gets on that. Max using the super to get him away. Guido snuck in behind enemy line. They're going to go for the base race instead. They need to have their defense on point, but Matthias has already gone down, as has Marcel. No one can defend the safe. And it just means that B4 Esports will equalize the series.
What a turnaround. I mean, the early control was definitely in INTZ's favor, and then out of nowhere, before Esports just started to turn it around with a lot of great uses of Mr. P gadget actually on those porters to give them that big tanky boost there. And when the damage was dealt, boy, was it dealt quickly with a combination of so many gadgets there. The Carl gadget as well for those additional ticks, making every single second of HP damage count.
Absolutely, and you saw the replays coming in there as well. Marcel still trying to find max value with the B. But once you committed to that base race and you lost both your members, there's nothing you could do about it. Guido is not going to out-damage the Brawlers on top of that. A point blank Carl, who has a wall to bounce his pickaxe off with a fast reset on his auto attack, not a chance you're going to out-damage that.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And I think in those moments, it's more one of desperation where, you know, you've got that timer ticking down and you know the pressure is on and you kind of have to go, well, you know what, if we're going to lose anyway, I may as well give ourselves the best possible chance. And I think that yeah, it was just quite against them in that instance there. And, you know, it's going to tie things up. And now really, it's very much blown apart right now between these two teams.
Absolutely, and we're looking ahead into round number 3 of Heist. INTZ can force us out to series point if they pick up the map win here and go to a 2-0 scoreline. Exactly what they need to try and maintain their dominance over the region. Jumping into round number 3 right now. We're looking for adaptations in these compositions. They come in, no, they're sticking with exactly the same thing.
Yep, sometimes, you know, you've just got to stick to your guns and kind of recollect and say, right, this is a good comp. We've practiced this comp in our scrims and it's reliable. We just got to play it a bit better. And already a good takedown there from Marcel on Tufa is going to give INTZ a bit of momentum here. And the push is looking good already. Giddy putting a lot of damage in early on for INTZ.
Matthias just able to come in there with the pickaxe. Still needs to find some HP, but an early 16% drop round. Marcel using the speed push to get in range and get out again without losing his life. Adino will go down as well. Matthias is on the back line. He's got the super. He's going to go for the safe and start tearing through it as they take out Beto on the back end as well. An empowered Porter reinforcing. This has to be a huge counter attack from B4. Otherwise, they will start losing control of this round.
Yeah, a dominant first push from INTZ. Now, the question is, can they hold it? As we saw in the previous round, that early control which they had didn't really matter at the end when it was turned around so well. But Matthias getting so much value here and continuing to do so and just lining up the porters with that safe to perfection there.
It's just so difficult for them to get out. B4 Esports haven't touched the INTZ safe once. Marcel will be taken out. Matthias again with the super on the safe. Guido's in range as well. They drop it down, and INTZ push it to 2-0.
Such an important round for INTZ to increase their lead over Before Esports, and that was the time to do it. Before Esports now have got to do a lot in order to retain where they currently are, and INTZ, like you said earlier, are always looking to extend that dominance over the region, and now in more of a place in order to continue doing so.
Yeah, just so much value from Matthias. You could see the attempts going in there. They were trying to send the Mr. P in to deal with him on the left-hand side, but because he was giving himself so much space around the terrain, it made it particularly difficult to find that elimination and remove him from the field. That staying power in the top left portion of the map just enabled him to constantly get on the back lines. And if you don't kill him, it will just make him stronger because he gets closer to that super every single time, and that's when the real damage comes into play. And while you're busy dealing with him, you're not going to be able to deal with also having the max deal with your damage as well. Super Stadium, our third map, Brawl Ball, could be the decider to close out the LATAM region.
Yeah, Brawl Ball especially as well is one of those game modes where you can just really capitalize quickly. We saw some very quick turnarounds yesterday in Brawl Ball in the European regions. So it's a blink and you may miss it moment, and keen to see whether these two teams do approach this aggressively or passively. But you know, having looked back at that previous stat for Heist, only 4 kills really were in it, despite there being quite a wide difference between how those teams competed against each other. Are we going to see the same thing in Brawl Ball? Are we going to see a small kill to death ratio, or are we just going to see an onslaught as we did yesterday?
Lord if I know, Ark. Lord if I know. It could go either way with this one. That's what I love about Brawl Ball. You can have elongated overtime attempts, or it can just be a 2-0 shutout. I don't know if we're going to see anything as climactic as what we saw yesterday when it came to the use of Frank, but we could see some incredibly fast games if there's some misplays from either of these teams.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that sometimes if you pull out a wild card like a Frank, and you know, your opposition are not quite expecting that to be played, then you can capitalize on those moments. And to be fair, that we haven't really seen really many wild cards played in this particular region today. It's been very kind of like sort of straight down the line and being played a little bit safe maybe. Lots of Mr. P, lots of Carl, but not really any brawlers which have kind of made us go, oh, except for that Mortis maybe earlier in that bounty game of Heatwave. But yeah, aside from that, no real kind of big surprises today.
Yeah, and I always love seeing in the monthly finals, we get those surprises. Yeah. While there is a method that often is adhered to, those bizarre picks that come into play really do add some spice to the gameplay, and it really does mix it up. Mortis, for all the hate I give it, is an interesting pick when it does come out because you get to see the power against certain compositions. So I'm wondering if we're going to see anything really far out there right now. Slambulance coming in for B4 Esports. You've got the Tara, the Jackie, and the Mr. P for the side of INTZ.
I love this. Finally, some variation. We're seeing some Jackie, some Tara, some Daryl, and yeah, very different.
It's all gone wrong for INTZ already. Tara has got the gravity. Maybe forced to use it early to pull in a kill and slow down the momentum. Edino just going to go for the goal line himself. Walks it in! And INTZ could not burn through him fast enough. That's 1 goal in favor of B4.
Yeah, and they do need to get more of this kind of motion here in Brawl Ball, but not for a double suck there. Marcel with another double suck says no to that push, but it's still actually not going to be enough to stop the onslaught. The heal as well from Beto. It's going to finalize things. That is it for the first round in 45 seconds, Tridd.
How are you going to commit double pull in, so double suck, the gravity and the super from Jackie, and only get 1 kill out of it? That should be a team wipe. In every instance, you should be able to finish them off, and you could not. And with no resources alive, low HP pool, and Beto providing sustain for Edino to walk it in, that was an absolute disaster for INTZ.
I honestly thought it was going to be a really solid defense, and surprisingly enough, you know, the thing about the Tara super is that it's not really strong enough on its own. You've got to follow it up with additional shots, and Marcel was kind of low. He couldn't really commit to that instance, and there was a Mr. P Porter as well on the map, providing another problem for him to not be able to heal, and that just continuation of that Poco, Slambulance, heal, tankiness is just really, really hard to beat under those circumstances.
I'm just thinking about it. Maybe maybe looking at a specific interaction in hindsight, the play isn't to use ult and ult at the same time. It's to commit the gravity, have Jackie go in, deal damage. Once that damage is out and the gravity ends, then let Jackie trigger her own damage, her own ultimate or super, for Tara to come in and deal that close range cleave damage with the cards. Maybe better timing with the execution of these ults was needed from INTZ to make that combo work.
Yeah, timing and maybe communication as well, having a little bit to play in those instances, and you've really got to be in such a place of synergy between your teammates, and that's where we see a lot of the best teams. You might be able to place some players from various teams together who are arguably the best in the world, but it's that synergy that you need. But early on, plays from Before Esports within 15 seconds of the game. They've already scored their first goal.
Oh, and there's the super as well, layered on top. Great counter-attack from INTZ. That is not the way that's supposed to go of your B4, and they cannot finish them off. Guido to walk it in.
These are just, like, this is faster than a base race in Heist right now. Brawl Ball is definitely the game that these two teams want to explode on, and, they are doing just that. INTZ now looking to get their second goal, but one on the cards for each team here, so it really still is anyone's to play.
Adino trying to go in. Great pull in there by Matthias to get Adino back into play. The ammo came back just in time to finish that off. Speed boost is there, but Guido with his super online. They're going to send BO in to try and clean through him, but it's not enough. Two bodies on the line. Someone has to body block it. Matthias is going to walk it in. Great super from Adino, but it is not enough. INTZ will equalize the map.
What a valiant attempt, though, to defend by Adinho there, getting the triple suck there, but not enough to do justice. If he just found a way to pick up the ball there and maybe pop a gadget in the process, he might have been able to clear it. But nonetheless, INTZ are now on match point, Tridd.
Yeah, it's a difficult position to be in if you're B4 Esports. A lot of value, in fact, too much value was coming from the Marcel Poco there. A lot of the counterattacks and the disengages that were coming in from INTZ were off the back of having that pivotal super online to heal up the team from the damage and stop that burst from coming in. And it's something that was sorely missed on the side of B4 Esports.
Yeah, and it's not over yet. Before Esports, if they can just get through this next game, they will be able to hold them just a little bit longer, but a really, really bad position for them to find themselves in as INTZ creep ever closer to extending their dominance over this region.
I get the thought process behind using the max as well. You're able to close the gap faster, get onto Marcel as the heal target a lot faster, and make sure you get him out, because once you remove the Poco, you can see how fast you can get that burst in. So using the max to be that speed boost, who can play quite safe herself anyway to avoid any potential dive that comes in from INTZ. It's definitely, you see the thought process behind it. It just, in execution, it's not working out.
Yeah, the Poco is the weak link. If you take down the Poco, then the Slaminus kind of does deteriorate, and
the wheels fall off.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, you've got to have that firm infrastructure to be able to maintain it. And if the Poco's down, then the heals can't be distributed, and then you just got to focus on getting and confirming each kill one by one to then get that goal. And this is the thing now, especially with that having been the previous instance. Do we see some changes here, or do we just see the same thing, rinse and repeat, and try to get this one wrapped up quick and fast?
I think B4 Esports goes back to a more traditional Slambulance. They bring out the Poco and try and go for the mirror in this final round. I think they can make it work. They've got a good thing of it. Nope, there's the Frank. So it is a Slambulance, but there's a curveball thrown in. Exact same story for INTZ. They brought the El Primo with Max and the Carl. So that speed versus heals combo where these Slambulances will collide. Beto goes in. Matthias is going to back him off with a super, but he's still able to stay alive. Adino trying to take down Marcel, who will dodge out that damage. They try to pass onto the back line, but Beto intercepts and will push away Marcel.
Now look out here as well. I think that for me, Prim is a bit of a underrated brawler. Look out for the gadget. You might be able to actually save a goal by throwing another brawler over your head here as Beto just gets the triple suck and actually connects really, really well with the majority of the INTZ team here. But look at this from Marcel launching himself and a double connection again there onto and Adino. Great plays from him there.
They catch a member of B4 Esports on the exit as well. Nice cycling of the supers through. They're just buying their time, waiting for the wheels to be put back on the Slambulance, and Tufa is now on the field. He will get on top of Beto and Adino. They pass into the backline. Marcel's looking for a way in. Matthias will erode Adino in that instance. Nice flip of Beto out of the way, but the ball is not in their possession. Matthias is on the backline. Tufa under pressure, pops the super to stay alive. Marcel's just waiting to go in. You've just destroyed your own cover, Adino. You better finish off Matthias. Well, that was not worth it. And now they go on the counter attack to try and get down the field. Gonna have to suck. Pull him in. Caught in midair from Marcel. Double super reset and unable to get the kill. Great knockdown from Adino. They have an open goal, but they do not have the ball. Matthias with the cleanup to save the day. They will not get the goal they were looking for.
What an amazing play, not just from Matthias, but from Adino there as well. And great dash from Guidi to get away, but so much value there is now the advancing of INTZ. Oh, Marcel almost threaded the needle, but not quite enough. Cleared off the line by Before Esports.
So close for him to get it. Adino's now got the ball. He pushed it forward. He's trying to bait them in. He has the super online. Marcel goes in with a super of his own. Tries to remove the CC. Gets flipped out of it. Hasn't committed the super. Marcel was preempting that with a shot. Great pullback from Beto. Will keep Adino alive. And the heals from Tufa are coming in. But now he's under pressure. Able to deflect the attack from Marcel. 15 seconds remaining. And no one has scored a goal in this round.
Yep, INTZ now just looking to slow play. They don't want to lose an opportunity to defend this here with 8 seconds. They've got to get defense here as Adino.
Oh, the cancel for Marcel!
Great! Amazing play from Marcel, who's now on his own. He's got to get this cleared as best he can, or this one's all over.
Tufa's got the shot. They need to pass it to someone with a super. They're getting it into Beto. Pass it in the corner. And will get that goal, winning the round and keeping them alive in this series.
We've got fireworks now between these teams. It's Before Esports holding on. I've got to say, I really liked a lot of the players in that game. Dinho, just again, taking some risk for me is always a good thing and was getting so much value by bringing out the Frank card here.
I think that is one of my favorite rounds of Brawl Ball I have seen all season, Ark. That had a little bit of everything in it. Adaptations, back and forths coming in, counterplays being executed on perfectly by both of these two teams. That was pretty much flawless for me.
Yeah, it had everything, and if you really look at some of the details, there's some great moments where you're getting the gadget use as well. Like a lot of the time, Dinho would be predicting the use of the Primo gadget counter and cancelling it before it was there, and sometimes you'd see the other way around, and the Frank super would get cancelled by the Primo gadget. So a lot of really tiny details there that you might want to go back and check out again. Some great plays from both teams there.
Hey, Before Esports have opened up the potential to bring in the reverse sweep. So we've got 2 more maps potentially. We're guaranteed to see Minecart Madness, which will be our next stop on our world tour. Love this map in particular. Pros hate it. We love it. The train, the minecart, is either your best friend or your worst enemy.
Yeah, and one thing to point out as well is that Minecart Madness has had a bit of a revamp. So some of the kind of instances where players were being frustrated are getting a bit moved over now with the introduction of the rope fence. Now, the rope fence is a really interesting new kind of wall mechanic in Brawl Stars. You can shoot through it, but you cannot move past it. It acts very much like a wall, but you can actually shoot through and connect with something on the other side. So that is massively changing the way that we are seeing Minecart Madness played out in competitive.
Yeah, it's a great adaptation onto a map which everyone kind of knew what to expect. The only thing that was unknown was the path that the trains were going to take. A little bit of RNG involved with that, and it does catch you out in the heat of the moment. Fall victim to a lot of plays. But yeah, I agree, the rope fence is a great addition because it does cause you to think twice about what you're doing, because you can't just hide behind cover now. You can't just cut yourself off. You will be rained down upon through this wall, and you're not relying on throwers to get that easy damage in.
Exactly. You hit the nail right on the head there. Throwers are kind of like a bit more obsolete now, and ranged brawlers are definitely something to be seriously looking to consider here. And already you can see the difference there on that right-hand side lane. Matthias is able to just shoot through that without any problems whatsoever. And nice to see Nani making an appearance here as well. Sometimes Nani can get some really clutch plays, especially in gem grab by using gadget to teleport across the map. But already, great control from INTZ, actually tarnished by a great snipe from Tufa.
Guido nearly losing his life to the train there. That 2,000 damage would have ended his life if he didn't get on the other side of it fast. Nani trying to force him away. 116 HP, trying to get the angle for that shot. Will connect it, but Marcel's there for the collection. Minecart will end up equalizing, so it is the best friend of INTZ right now. One other thing to note about why Nani could be so valuable here, Ark, is because she can bypass the train by the use of the peep and the gadget and to teleport beyond it. Great cover destruction there to retreat and get the gems to safety, but INTZ have the lead. Peep going in, takes out Guidu. It's the safest, cleanest kill you could ask for.
Yeah, this is the thing for me, is that Nani now with a bit of a tweak in the most recent balance changes does mean a lot more confirming kills and accuracy when you are likely to miss some of the shots. They will still ricochet beyond that point, and looking already to dominate this left-hand side lane then for Before Esports.
B2 taking a lot of fire from Marcel, who's keeping it at range on the Piper. That's probably the best option for your gem carrier right now, outside of having the Gene, just to make sure that you can stay safe. The super can be kept in the pocket for a disengage fast. If it gets too hot, they're sending the peep in after Marcel. The instant deletion from Adino! But the gems are thankfully in their back spawn. Nice and safe. They make the conscious decision to give them back to Marcel, who's under fire, immediately loses his life to Tufa. This is an opportunity. Bino wants to go in for it. They have to commit super to disengage this. And it's 10-6. The countdown begins.
Yeah, INTZ know that there's not much time to waste. If they waste any more time and don't get on countdown, then more gems will spawn from the center. And a takedown as well means that Before Esports gonna have to try to get more gems here as Beta going in. No support there. Adino on his own. It is gonna be INTZ to take this first round. The pressure now on Before Esports is huge.
The difficulty you had there was that you saw Beto wanted to go in and capitalize on the kill onto Marcel, try and get some of those gems back, but he'd be going in solo. He wouldn't be able to get there and get them out. He would just get deleted by INTZ. You don't have anyone who can go in with your Carls, and it makes it incredibly difficult for him to play aggressively in those instances where he has to take on 1vx scenarios.
Yeah, one option there might have been to use the gadget to actually teleport and not really go for the takedown, but just go for the positioning and allow your teammates to come behind you and just shut down that control to be able to just delay, because that is the thing in Gem Grab. If you're able to delay the game, then you might be able to get on countdown yourselves, and establishing that late game control can turn a game round. But they went for the kill and it didn't really work out when it came down to it, and now we're going to see again INTZ back on match point.
Yeah, I think if you had Carl in position to dive with you with the peep teleportation, you definitely could have made a play there. But I think when the peep was being committed, Carl was too far away to jump in there and reinforce straight away. So you would have lost your Nani at that instance. And bear in mind, the way Nani's shots work, if you don't get the distance right, you're going to miss out on a lot of damage with your kill potential. So it's quite difficult to work out. You do need to grab a buddy when you go for these aggressive plays.
Yeah, grab a buddy and hunker down. And, I think actually if you'd pop the gadget, then it might have even encouraged a sort of Piper super evasion as well, because you don't want to drop the gems. You've got 9, you're going to be kind of on edge, so actually stopping a little bit short of that super to evade the damage may have just given a bit of an advantage back to Before Esports. But it's tough to put it down to one particular play. I think that in Gem Grab, a lot of these games are won by just consistent control, and that was the main thing that I feel Before Esports weren't really able to establish in the mid to later part of that game.
Yeah, and you got to remember as well, Marcel also held on to his super despite the peep coming in for the kill. He knew that he was in the spawn. He wasn't under a lot of pressure, so I think he would have had a lot of difficulty forcing that super from him. He made a conscious decision not to use it in case he needed to quickly re-engage, but also he didn't want to destroy the cover that was there because he knew it was going to be so important in staying alive and keeping hold of these gems, even if he went down.
Yeah, and the question now is, are we going to see Nani played again? It didn't really work out for them, despite, I think, being quite viable here still. Are they going to go with something more traditional? How are they going to mix this up? Because, again, the pressure is on, and they've got to come out with a win here, or they're going to be really, really not in a great spot today.
Still sticking with the Nani. Guidu's gone onto the B this time as round. Matthias is still on the Carl. They're going to try and keep him at range. Marcel gets the early spawn RNG, gives himself a nice lead, dodging out those shots from Nani. He returns fire across the map, looking to get gem number 3 and get out as well. Carl's pickaxe is not enough, nearly caught off by the minecart, but retreats altogether.
Yeah, again, establishing that early control. Marcel, look how weak he is in the minecart, locking him down. And actually, that shot from Tuba just sort of seemed to go straight through Marcel. I think a bit of a scrape there. Very, very close to going down there for INTZ.
Beto doesn't want to be the person to collect this gem, but he has to stop INTZ from grabbing it themselves and release some pressure. Allow either Adino to go in. Matthias on the back line. Very greedy from Beto in that instance, but it does relieve enough pressure for Marcel to pick up gem number 8. The peep's going in. Will he use the super this time around? He has to commit it. He wants to stay alive. Great resonance of might to hold on to it, but it will still break into the back wall. They've lost some early cover, but they still have this lead. They need to get some kills on the board. Otherwise, B4 Esports are going to lose this series.
Yeah, I'm surprised, to be honest, we didn't use Gadget there, because if you've missed the first shot and the Piper jumps away, he was trying to sort of position himself with the peep and turn it around, but the turning circle is vicious with Nani, but we are seeing a little bit of a comeback now for B4 Esports, so if they can get Marcel taken down here and get a couple of gems, but Adino going down is not going to help that from happening.
Porter trying to find Guido. Marcel's there for the cover as well. 8-4 in terms of gems. They don't have the mid control just yet. Tooth is going to pick up these gems. The longer this goes on, that lead that INTZ had is less impactful. Thankfully, Matthias goes in and captures that gem. Don't want to put it on your car, but you want to stop this lead coming in, or this closing of the gap. Marcel going to be able to dodge out the peak turning circle. Yet again, as wide as you said, Ark, unable to get it around and get in damage. Empowered Porter, doing what he can. Very aggressive dispenser. Going to go down. Here's the countdown beginning. There may be time here. They lose all the gems. Matthias is going to play cleanup with them. He's got 10. There may be time here because of that reset to get the 10 to equalize.
It's going to be super close. I don't think there's enough time for 2 to spawn in 10 seconds, but if they can just get a reset here, it might happen. If they can stretch themselves out, maybe there's enough time.
No, they can. The gems are going to come in. They've got enough time, and as long as they grab it straight away. One more. The B closes it. The B shut it down.
Oh my goodness me, there was actually a chance to reset the countdown, but as a swift snipe from Marcel says no, and INTZ victorious today.
Great slow by Guido there to slow everything down and stop the gems from going in fast, but you are right, Ark. It was Marcel's shots that finished that off and sealed the deal. It came down to the wire with the gem spawner, and INTZ were able to put up the defense they needed to make sure they would not equalize, and that countdown hit 0.
That was honestly such a terrible way to go out today. That gem just within the clutches there. But look at the difference here between INTZ and B4 Esports on the gem side of things. 53 in the hands of INTZ, but B4 Esports didn't even get half of that, Tridd.
Well, we'll find out more about this series as we go over the Dan who's going to break down the series.
All right, that was, again, one of the closer games we've had this weekend. In fact, today in general seems to have been a much closer day. But of course, it is time to announce that the MVP for this one is Marcel. Oh my goodness. What a fantastic set from Marcel. I'm going to be real though, at the beginning, the Porter did so much work in the first set. But more than that, the Porter mixed with Mr. P's splash damage is what we've seen do so much work in Bounty. They were both essential factors of victory. In Brawl as Poco, once the team kind of pulled it together, his healing allowed for that ball to go all the way in, even walking it in himself, dodging Jackie's super. They didn't win Brawl though. But moving on to Gem Grab, I mean, you saw what happened at the end of the match there. That Piper was so key in winning the match. Those final moments where it looked like B4 were maybe going to even out the gems, maybe get 10 gems themselves. Marcel on the Piper was able to shut that one down and shut out B4's hopes of doing anything today. INTZ claim their second place spot in today's monthly finals. Let's take a look at the bracket and just take one more look for ourselves of what things are looking like now. Red Canids did get that 2-0 win, but INTZ won their match against B4 Esports, placing B4 firmly at the bottom of the LATAM South group for today. And there you have it. There's our first, second, third. But I'm sure what you're wondering now is, what does that mean for prize money? Here you go. Red Canids taking home their whopping $9,000, which is a huge leap ahead of INTZ's 2,000 and B4 Esports 1,250. Those first couple games were very key today, and Red Canids are going to be extremely happy with themselves. But okay, prize money's one thing. Let's talk about points. Let's talk about leader point boards. Let's talk about the global finals and qualifications to it. And INTZ are so far ahead. Yes, maybe they only came second today. Maybe that's true. But Red Canids, with their first place finish, they are still 80 full points behind INTZ. They have so much work to do if they want to catch up to INTZ. INTZ are looking like they're almost guaranteed to qualify, but we're not quite there yet. Though we are now over halfway through the season this year. That is really scary to think about. Over halfway through this year's Brawl Stars competitive season. Well, let's make the second half a good one. With this next group, it's Omen Elite versus Kosmos Esports to start off. Omen Elite, Corey, Superside, Tyrant Star, Zulan, Kosmos, Mali, Binwoon, Kennedy, and Skywalker. I'm really looking forward to this group. It's going to be a good one. North America and LATAM North. Here we come. The first team is Omen Elite. Omen Elite had a lot to say about their teammates when we asked them the questions. Sounds like they're a fun bunch. Tyrant Star told us that they are aware of their full potential and they work really hard to achieve it. Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good to hear. But the other players all confess to always joking around in and around games. They pull pranks on each other, and apparently they make fun of Corey a lot. Oh, poor Corey. Most importantly, they said that there is trust between the players, so it will be great to see how that trust plays out in battle. On to Kosmos. Marley's role in the team is supposedly playing Brawl Ball. Does that mean Marley isn't allowed to play the other game modes? How oddly specific. Skywalker said that his teammates always stay positive whether or not they're winning. That's really great to see. However, Kennedy and Minwoon gave the classic, "they get carried by me," and "they're C-tier players" answers respectively. I don't believe that for a second, but I guess we're going to have to see it in action. Casters, back to you.
Thanks very much, Falcone. I am ready to get going on this NA region. We've got a really interesting setup today where our first place team, Tempo Storm, did not qualify for this month's finals. That means that we've got Omen Elite and Kosmos Esports coming up first with a chance to try to strike for the top. But even if Omen Elite, the second place team in this region, gets first place this month, that still will not be enough to catch up. They have got a long fight ahead of them, and you've really got to have your fingers crossed for this Canadian squad if you want to have them qualify for Worlds. Only one team will qualify for Worlds from this region, Ark.
Yeah, and some really keen, interesting bands here. Gale and Gene as well. Very different to what we've seen already today. Gene being banned, I think is an interesting one, and one that you wouldn't probably actually see in the first map, which is Crossroads. Heist is not really a game mode that is going to attract much Gene, but Gale has been a real tricky brawler that a lot of these pro players are struggling with right now, so Gale and Gene are very interesting bands for me.
I think that the Gale ban is particularly interesting. It's a brawler that we didn't see at all in previous months, but that with a big buff this last round of balance changes has now come storming into the metagame, being used by a lot of different teams in a lot of different settings. And with the ban, I think that could give a big swing of advantage here for the team that didn't rely on him during their practice runs.
And we haven't seen Gene played at all in the region this morning, and now it's actually being banned as well. So this is a bad day for Gene fans out there. You're not going to see much of Gene, but like you said earlier on, very rightly so, a big day now for Omen Elite. They've got to bring it out the bag, because actually the teams that we are seeing today qualified, all three qualified for next month, but Temperstorm have not. So a chance really to close the gap for every team today, but Omen Elite in second place are definitely going to be thinking that beyond all else.
We'll be starting off with Heist game mode. You can take a look at the star powers that are chosen by the players here over on the right side. It's going to be incendiary for both of the blocks. Lots of fire going to be set up around the ground now to try and provide some additional coverage here. An early base race is going to leave neither team with much of a clear advantage, just a tiny bit of an edge for Omen Elite now. Pam is finally coming out, though, for our Kosmos Esports squad over here. I know she's a big favorite of yours. What do you think that's going to mean for both of our teams, actually? Now, Omen running Pam as well.
Pam's a great favorite, but only if the holiday Pam skin is in play. But a very interesting choice, actually, is look at this base race now, 10% down. Is it going to be? It's going to be Omen Elite that just clinch on at the end of that game. But that was a close finale there.
A mirror match from both of these squads, Brock, Pam, and Max being brought in by both Kosmos and Omen Elite. And as we've seen so often with these fast-paced heist matches, a base race to the very end leaves Omen Elite ahead by just a tiny little sliver of advantage, but that's all you need if you're safe as standing and you dealt the damage To the victor go the spoils. The offensive, aggressive strategy from Omen Elite paying off there. We'll see if they make any swap outs here for game number 2. Looks like no swap out at all. It's going to be the same run from both teams, Ark.
Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me the difference of brawler choices between regions. Pam, such a different choice, but definitely makes a lot of sense for me. We've seen a lot of Pam coming back in the meta recently, and look at Corey actually able to defend a lot of this on his own, but now getting overpowered by both Sky and Miniwoon, who are going to put a lot of pressure on that safe and damage early on.
That's a very punishing hit here from Kosmos Esports up on the top, holding pretty well for their own. They've got a big strike from something off screen earlier on, and it looks like they're going for a base race as well. Swap to both sides. As you see, Zulan has actually dealt a ton of damage to the enemy save and backing up with a super as well to keep Tyrant on that target. Lots of damage dished out on the Kosmos Esports side of things, but they are racing as fast as they can. Sky for his own has got that save uncontested, but can't dish it out fast enough. Big hit for Omen Elite as they finish things off. All 3 brawlers straight up there on the save, pounding away for victory.
I mean, blink and you miss it. Like, again, it's one of those things where heist can be over as quickly as that, and it did seem a bit strange to me almost that there was such an openness to go in and just go on the aggressive. We don't often see that. We still often see heist played in a lot more of a controlling manner, but Omen Elite have taken the first set as quickly as that. There are the stats. More kills by almost double for Omen Elite. And again, with the same on the safe HP side of things. Just a dominant performance early on from Omen Elite. But they've got to kind of continue that on. And Heist is definitely, in my opinion, a game mode where you can be a little bit more sporadic in your approach. And, you know, it doesn't necessarily reflect truly what is to follow in game modes like Gem Grab and Siege that focus a lot more around control.
This new region has seen some similar play styles from games past. That Heist game mode getting knocked out really fast. Lickety split strat from Omen Elite going super aggressive, and GG for that. They got rewarded very well for that early attack strategy. Let's go switch that to Minecart Madness, though. As Tridd has said, one of not necessarily the favorites among pros, but has got some really swingy results based on where that train comes in from first. Really fun to watch this, though, as you got to be careful for that cart. It can deal a ton of damage and knock back any brawler that gets too close to it, so really affects the positioning of both of these players. I'm excited to now see Sprout coming back into action for both teams this time, Ark.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say the same thing, and that star power now making much more an impact since the buff also. And look at these little shots that Corey's hitting. I wonder whether there's still an unintentional defect in the game where you can actually bounce the shots and have them propel across the map. But nonetheless, shutting down that middle lane there, and Sky is forced to the left-hand side towards Zulan then. But a good start for both teams. 3 gems for now to Omen Elite. Pretty balanced, but Sky looking very weary, forced back.
Yeah, just like skipping rocks over a clear pool of water, tossing Sprout shots on the minecart can make it go really far if you get the perfect angle, and that is working so well for Corey right now. A 5-gem lead right now as Kosmos Esports finally picking up the rest of their gems on their side. Sky up on the top having a bit of a difficult time getting past that first line of bushes, and Corey has got a huge advantage now over Kosmos Esports. Yeah,
Corey and his teammates doing a good job here to deter this push, but they've got to hold on and get this countdown and also defend it with their lives, because Sky has got the ability to shut down from a distance, and Corey has super the majority of the time, it seems, but if left unchecked, that will shut that down, and Corey will be leaving those gems on the map.
Corey is walking along the razor's edge. Enemy super setting up and denying him the retreat option, but still playing so close to the opponents, right within range of Sky, but not letting him get any shots off, taking him down. That's going to be a clear opportunity to retreat now. All 10 gems, and the countdown has started, Ark.
Yeah, countdown underway, 10 seconds, but Corey's actually a little bit low here and not really able to pop gadget for heals, but luckily his teammates are there for the takedown. Tyrant Star and Zulan coming in there, and Tyrant is actually, he was actually relevant in that countdown, so did a good job to stay alive, and Omen Elite, great start for them. They've done Heist and now 1 game in the bag on Gem Grab.
So frustrating when you're the last remaining attacker trying to knock down just one of those brawlers to end the countdown, but they hide behind the obstacles really well. both Tyrant and Corey denying access to enemy brawlers and wiping them out so quickly. Molly, you saw at the last second, they're trying to run in and get that last pop shot off, but not going to get it done. And even if they did, all the gems were so far stacked on the bottom side of the map. That was a clear lead for Omen Elite that they are pushing heavily in this matchup against Kosmos Esports. I don't know what Kosmos could do to come back at this point. They're super far behind. They need a big swing of momentum to go in their favor right now, Ark.
Yeah, and especially with the map changes, we're seeing a lot more difficulty to kind of choose a comp. It's pretty much now all about range, and you can't really go in with the Slambulance here now anymore because the range is there, and with those rope fences, it's just going to shut that down. So a difficult position to be said absolutely for Kosmos as to what they're going to do to really come back against this. And the mirror comp would be the ideal choice maybe, but they've got to play it better than Omen Elite.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. There's not really much you can do in terms of brawler comp switch. We'll take a look at what the teams have brought this time and see if they've made any big changes. Actually, surprising both of us, looks like Kosmos Esports is instead going to go for that Slambulance comp, bringing in Jackie and Carl, making a risky play here, but they've got to do something, I guess, and maybe this is going to be exactly what they needed.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a decision that they're going to have to do carefully around. The Miniwings are actually doing a great job already of pushing up, and this is what you're going to have to do to make the Slambulance work here, is push up early on and get behind that wall. But already, look at this, Omen Elite's very much onto him already to get him shut down, and now able to push back on the mid. But 5 gems in the meantime were banked, and this is going to have to be what Kosmos do here. They're going to have to continue this using Miniwing to distract whilst they bank bolts. Otherwise, if this doesn't work out, it's going to be really hard for them to be able to do much here.
Zulon caught in a really tricky spot there, but still is able to get the kill on Molly. Very nice job there on defense. Omen Elite holding on, and as soon as these robo-porters start coming in, and as soon as that healing turret gets set up, Zulon is going to have a big advantage on the bottom. Omen Elite trying their best to get that avalanche of value, but being really pushed back time and again. Moon Wong doing an amazing job at just pressure on this Omen Elite backline. It's an advantage now on the gym count for Kosmos Esports. I can't call them Kosmos Esports, but doing their best to keep that going. Few lucky little gym spawns here and there is not going to be enough to give them the 10 that they need for the countdown.
Yeah, and what we've got to remember is that Miniwing is using Gadget a lot of the time, and once that Gadget's gone, it really depletes his ability to push back on Omen Elite, and this is now why we're starting to see a little bit more of an even matchup. As time keeps ticking, then the gems start going back into the hands of Omen, and there's not really much that Miniwing's able to do. Now Mali going in desperately, trying to get some value here, and does get in a really good spot, but I think it's going to get eventually taken down as all 3 of Omen Elite focus their attention and back into the mid control.
Huge shielding and beefy healing from Zulon as well, blocking all those big shots. It's hard to imagine that a Carl with a super right in front of you can deal so little damage, but that's exactly what we just saw. Omen Elite have got the countdown started, but it's not a decisive spot for them just yet. Kosmos Esports equalizes now with that 10 gem, and they'll be able to get it going back in their favor. They're trapped! They're right behind the card, and there's no escape. Big hit for Kosmos Esports, and they'll get the countdown started again in their favor now. 12 gems up on the top for the red team, and that might be enough to claim victory.
An incredible suit from Miniwing, and look at this. There's no way that Omen Elite can... Or maybe...
What?
Maybe Corey over the
long ball.
Correct me.
Great job to Corey there, but will that be enough for them to get back in the game? A huge gem lead right now for Kosmos Esports, and Molly is not giving up without 5 seconds left. Can they finish him off? There he goes! The countdown is over, but they can't get the gems. Corey and Tyrant are forced back, and they've got fewer gems than they started with on that last push. They've only got 10 seconds to do the unthinkable again. Can they get that countdown finished off?
I think they're going to. There's no way at all. Sky is getting touched, but a valiant attempt from Omen to do something. I didn't even see it coming myself, but not able to really see that one through, despite looking like they were going to actually take that round with a valiant attempt against the Slambulance, but in the end, it was too much for them, and Kosmos will take back a game.
The match over prompt was flashed on the screen for a brilliant little split second there. Look, did you see that on the replay? Cosmos Esports barely able to push them back, though, and I guess they got the job done eventually. 17 gems on their side. I thought that it was all over. Once you see match over, what else is there to say? But it's got to land hard on that screen in order for it to actually count.
I remember this happening to us actually when we were in Poland as well, and it's funny to see. And it's a split-second moment where it can go either way there, and Corey able to reset the counter, but not able to bring home the win. For me, the play in that game was absolutely mini-wing. That Jackie suck was perfectly timed to trap Omen Elite. The minecart came through, forcing them to be absolutely stuck in a trap, and his perseverance in that game was absolutely rewarded. I definitely think you're going to see Jackie again in the next game.
Yeah, beautiful use of that super. Held on to it until they could get their opponents coaxed into a snafu, drag all those gems right into a tiny little spot in the mid and grab them and ran away all the way to the bank. Hats off to Omen Elite. I don't think I've seen that many countdowns get canceled 2 or 3 times in a row, but ultimately at the end, you got to grab the gems and get back. That's what the grab in gem grab means, Ark.
That is very true. Also worth mentioning as well, the difference in the meta shifting much more now towards Sprout's second star power forward. Synthesis is not one that we've really ever seen much being played, and now definitely appears to be the more favored of the two, as a quick takedown on Miniwung, who's now actually gone towards Pam in this game and dropped the Jackie card, and I kind of feel that might be a mistake. Trying to keep Omen obviously on their toes here, but is that going to be an exception to the winning of this game?
Yeah, I also want to point out the introduction of these little stanchions over on the right and bottom right and top left side. You're not able to walk over those, but you can shoot over them, kind of like water. So that's providing some additional blocking here, but opening up the map a bit more overall for Omen Elite. To get some damage in there. You can see Corey still popping so many shots off right into the center there, trying to shut down the pushes from Pam, who hasn't been able to set up a healing turret on either side. Big advantage for Omen Elite in the early stage of this game, Ark.
Big suck as well from Tyrant on the right-hand side, getting Minwin taken down. Actually goes down himself, but nonetheless, Corey and Zula now able to really nicely pinch this left-hand side as Mali goes down. This has Omen Elite written all over it, Woody.
Yeah, when you're that far ahead, a trade Tyrant for Minwung is an easy one to make, and definitely in Omen Elite's favor. All they need is one more gem and they'll get that countdown going. Zulan's going to grab the 10th one, and he's within that healing turret range. Gets topped off a little bit more, up to 1460, and he's safe now. Minecart going through the center of the range means that there's no chance for Kosmos Esports to catch back up. Omen Elite have taken the second set, Ark.
Yeah, great play. Zulan was actually relevant in the countdown, but it was honestly such a controlling countdown. There was no way that really Cosmos had a chance to come close to contesting it, and Omen Elite now in a great spot today so far.
And Tyrant playing beautifully, never really the one holding the gems at the end there, but super aggressive plays in both of the game wins for Omen Elite. Hats off to him for those heads-up plays, keeping the pressure on Kosmos Esports and pushing them back super far each time.
Look at the difference, though, in the stats. 79 gems in Cosmos' hands, largely, I guess, from that second game mode on the 17-gem countdown there. But it was Omen Elite that clawed it back at the end, giving them 2 sets to 0, and a lot more in the way of kills. And I think that's for me that in the majority of game modes, having more kills does tend to equate, regardless as to other stats, the victory in those instances.
Yeah, I think that stat must be something like gem pickup. So if you pick up 15 and then drop 15 and then pick up 15 and then drop 15 and pick them back up again, you get 45 right there. But it doesn't actually wind up meaning much in the end if you didn't get the countdown you needed at most.
Yeah, but it is going to make a big difference in Siege. Collecting these bolts is going to mean a bigger bot, more pushes. You need to get that damage on the Ike, and this is where having that control again matters so much. And both of these teams coming from Gem Grab now, it's going to help them to kind of adjust to Siege, as opposed to going from maybe like a bounty or a heist into Siege. So both teams already a bit familiar now with what they're going to be looking to do going into this next game mode.
Yes, they are familiar with what to do in this next game mode. Siege is all about busting down that eye, getting the biggest bot that you possibly can from accumulating bolts in the center. Omen Elite with a 2-0 match lead right now over Kosmos Esports have got the clear advantage so far. And they're coming in with a Frank pick on both sides, backing it up with Sprout and Max. So it's a mirror match for both of these two teams. Anyone's game at this point, Ark.
Yeah, double Frank, double Sprout, double Max. Both teams clearly thinking the same things, but it is actually going to be Omen Elite that look to be controlling the mid on a better level right now, and going to be getting level 3 to start things off. But bear in mind, 2 bolts are going to likely to be banked yet in the bank for Kosmos, but they've got to get back into the mid early in order to be able to get this second round.
There you see the power of Sprout in Siege, blocking off that big old bot and basically denying a bunch of time for hitting on the safe, getting it down to 85%. Omen Elite have got to be happy with whatever little early chip damage they can get, but they're more excited about holding control of the midfield now. All 3 of their brawlers are up and healthy, knocking back Kosmos Esports and not giving a single inch. Most of the bolts now going in their favor, and wow, even Zulan's gonna knock down an enemy brawler and grab a bolt right out from under that Ike's nose. Beautiful use of the gadget there from Zulan, dashes past the super from Frank, and he'll continue to fire away with a level 7 siege bot.
Great, absolutely great use of gadget from Zulan there, yeah, to evade that shot. And Tyrant winning his lane consistently is why you are seeing Kosmos struggle so much to regain control, because Frank, you've got to get him taken down as a priority. A good actual super there, redirecting the bot. It's going to deflate a ton of damage actually going on the Ike though.
An electric slide from Max and a super heads-up play from Zulan have got to give a big advantage to Omen Elite now. A 2-bolt deficit is nothing to worry about with such dominant control of the midfield now. Molly's taking so many hits out the right side. I don't know how he can continue to push up against a 2v1 now. Corey firing away, doesn't land any hits, and it looks like Omen Elite are just going to walk away with every single bot in this game. That's going to be all they need to get victory in game number 1.
Cosmos didn't have a chance. Tyrant with a little dance and some emos flying as well. The NA vibes are strong today, and it's great to see, but it is going to be Omen Elite today, which are looking to be absolutely dominating. 1 game away now. They are on match point.
Hey, I don't know if NA's got necessarily the top skill line on the global level, but they have got some of the spiciest players and are some of the most fun to watch. Take another look at the midfield here as Zulan dodges through that big Frank super, earning the second bot for Omen Elite. And even though they didn't get very much damage off of each of those bots, they got them each time and didn't ever have to play defense. Huge lead now for Omen Elite as they've got just 1 more game to win before they take the whole match.
Yep, no change at all as well, and Tyrant again winning that side is going to cause problems for Kosmos as now Zulan and Corey can focus their attention on Sky, and Sky juking but does go down means that again we're going to see an early push for Omen Elite at level 3 coming in, and they just keep bringing the fire, Woody.
Big booms back to back. Kosmos Esports taking another one right on the chin as every single bolt goes on the Omen Elite side of the map. Firepower just raining down from Corey now as they force Kosmos back all the way into their spawn point, and they're having so much difficulty coming back. Great use of the gadget there from Tyrant. Is going to get a counter super right on Molly's face, and that is a punishing move.
Yeah, this is really, really great from Omen. They've not missed a trick today so far, and it, again, so important that they bring their game because those points matter when it comes to knocking off Tempestorm off the top spot. They're a little bit behind. They need a good, solid day today and a good, solid day next month. And this, again, a level 9, Woody, is surely going to be closer to sealing that deal.
Tempo Storm are shaking in their boots as they watch Omen Elite go on a 3-0 smashing success in this qualifier. The NA World Finalist is still up for grabs, and Omen Elite are doing a great job claiming that title with the 3rd match win in a row. This is going to be potentially huge for them as they're trying to finally finish off with one last siege. The challenge for the middle control is finally swinging back toward Kosmos, but a massive hit from Tyrant is going to keep Moonwong out of control. That's a bolt lead for Omen Elite, and the final bot's coming in very shortly.
Tyrant is just absolutely smashing this game as Frank right now, and it did look like a round potentially there for Kosmos to at least have won, but not gonna happen. Tyrant and his team will be spinning, the emotes flying, and Kosmos know there is absolutely nothing now they can do. Omen Elite today will have been over Kosmos.
Congratulations to Omen Elite for a 3-0 shutout. Big pickup for them, and they'll just have one more going for that back-to-back win. Omen Elite will face off against IX Snacks very shortly. Kosmos Esports going to get the breather to try to regroup and find another approach for their third match in this region.
Yeah, Kosmos are a great team. They will have another chance today to still bring home a healthy amount of points and, of course, that prize money. But Omen Elite is the team to watch today. And this could be a big play that they are in the process of making on the NA side of things.
Red Canids made a big leap up against INTZ in the LATAM region, and it looks like Omen Elite are going to be doing this very same thing against Tempo Storm. We have got some highly contentious leaderboard shuffling going on today, Ark, but let's send it out to Falcone for the wrap-up.
That was a very quick series. I can't think of a series that we've watched that has been quite as fast as that. Omen Elite just dominated their opposition, and we are going to award MVP this matchup to Tyrant Star. As Brock in the early game, in the heist, so much damage was done with his regular attack and with his super. In Gem Grab, he switched to Mr. P, backed up by a Sprout and an extremely bulky Pam. He was able to deal so much damage and shut down the other team. Anyone that tried to grab the gems, it wasn't going to happen. Later, he switched to Tara and just locked that last game of Gem Grab down with some super aggressive plays, keeping the pressure on Kosmos Esports and pushing them back each time. Finally, in Siege, Frank. Need I say more? I don't think so. We've seen plenty of times what a good, well-placed Frank is capable of. Super after super, stun after stun, the damage was done. Tyrant Star and Omen Elite are going to take that one down. And as the casters were saying, one more win will be the 2-0 group victory and the first place spot for them. So let's waste no more time. Let's see what's coming up next. After the bracket, 3-0. 0-3 for Kosmos Elite. It's all up to IX Snacks to put a stop to Omen Elite. All up to IX Snacks. Everything up to them. Let's take a look at the next game. It is going to be Omen Elite up against IX Snacks. Omen Elite, Corey, Super Sai, Tyrant Star, and Zulan, who you just saw do so well up against Felai, Zar, Squashy, and Second Best. This is a game that we are looking forward to. If Omen Elite win this, they're winning the group. If IX Snacks wins this, it gets blown wide open. Omen Elite, Corey, Super Sai, Tyrant Star, Zulan. Some of these players actually have a fair amount of experience competing professionally. Super Sai used to play Clash of Clans semi-professionally, and Corey used to play yet another esport semi-professionally. That's a lot of experience between them. Zulan said that his plan for the matches was to establish a plan for each and every single match and work together as a team. That sounds like a lot of work. Let's hope that that one pays off. It did in the last set, certainly. How about the next one? IX Snacks. Squashy, Zar, and Felly. Zar described his teammates as a bunch of burritos. Tasty. His superpower is sleeping late, which is a pretty good superpower to have, especially compared to his teammates, Felly, whose superpower is being a snack, and Squashy, whose superpower is, sadly, I don't have one. Oof. Well, maybe Squashy will discover his superpower now in this coming match. It's a big one. Back to the casters.
Thanks very much, Falcone. I'm jumping back on the mic with Woody for game number 2. We just seen Omen Elite go for a speed run in match number 1, but are they on world record pace for their second match of the day, Woody?
I think they are. Omen Elite were unstoppable throughout all 3 of those sets, picking great brawler selections and charging right into the fray, leaving no room for the competition. I've got an also interesting little bit of a storyline here from IX Snacks. We asked each of the players if they could have anyone join their team, who would it be? And one of the IX players, Squashy, actually said that Zulon was someone that he would really love to play with. So Omen Elite are the cock of the walk right now in this North American region and looking clear to advance. But IX Snacks, of course, will be fighting hard to hold on to their spot here. IX, a really well-known organization in the North American region, having a couple of teams qualify in past months, but it's just the Snacks this time around trying to take a big bite out of this Omen Elite squad. Take a look at the bans now. It's going to be Mortis kicked out by Omen Elite. Of all the brawlers that we expected to not see in the ban setup, it's Mortis here now, paired up with Sprout. What do you make of that, Tridd?
I think the Sprout ban makes sense. I think Omen are basically throwing away a ban based on how much we see Mortis actually being played. I don't think they care too much about what they banned, to be honest. I think that's kind of I'll just throw this out there. I don't really care anymore. Let's have a look at the map set for this series. Factory Rush, Triple Dribble, Pit Stop, Layer Cake, and Stone Fort. We're going to kick things off with Siege.
What that says to me is Omen Elite is throwing down the gauntlet. They say, you know what? We can play any brawler better than you. Bring it. We're not afraid of you running anything against us. I guess they could have banned Crow or, Dynamite, who's never been played in the qualifiers before, but the Mortis ban says about the same thing. We're going to leave our entire lineup wide open. We're more adaptable. We're more ready for anything you can throw at us. So let's get this fight going. IX Snacks, I'm sure, is up to the challenge, and we'll be starting off with this first game with an explosive run. Sprout out of the action means that we still have a little bit of a limitation on the brawler lineups, and I'm expecting to see Gale return to the lineups here soon. What about you, Tridd?
Yeah, I think Gale's a good shout. Very powerful, as we've seen over the past 2 days worth of action. A lot of Carl being played in LATAM. May see that replicated in North America, but I'm not too optimistic for this game. Yeah, I think more than likely we'll see Gale, but outside of that, I'm eager to see what we'll see ran with in Siege. We're going to see the Gale, so we were right about that. Max and Pam for the side of Omen Elite. When it comes round to IX Snacks, Pam again, but with Mr. P instead of the Max.
Yeah, Pam, a big favorite of Ark's, is going to be really heavy front-facing damage and heals to back it up as well. Bulky brawler makes for great use in map control, and that's what Corey and Squashy are both going for here, right in the pit of this map. Big lead for Omen Elite to start things off with a level 4 siege bot storming in, and not a single bolt claimed by the Snack Squad.
This is so difficult for IX Snacks to get away with it, and they just miss out on getting a bolt on the board before the bot enters the Ike territory. Is going to be locked up here on the corner, are not able to get through. They are doing the best they can by using Pam's super to actually tank up a lot of that damage. So they will get away with a flawless defense.
Nice job there to IX Snacks. They're going to reestablish in the center control, but remember, they're still down 2 bolts overall to Omen Elite, who grabbed the last remaining bolts from that first round of spawn. What's that?
They're 4 bolts down at this point, Woody. They can't even get one claimed at the moment. They're getting absolutely dismantled by Omen Elite in the mid. And they've pushed themselves to a 6-bolt lead. They may walk away with a level 8 or potentially 9 siege bot. No, it's level 8 siege bot for this next engagement.
Tarnished and trashed. It's an ominous bearing on what's to come, Tridd. Omen Elite have been ripping apart this IX Snacks squad and are going once again with another siege bot attack. The defense from IX Snacks is good, but these hits are just unprecedented from Omen Elite, not allowing a single bolt to go to their opponents and holding court in the midfield now.
Yeah, this is an explosive match, Woody. This is more of a slow chokeout right now because they're getting negligible damage on this Ike every time, but they're not allowing IX Snacks an opportunity to get their own siege bot online and get some damage in. No one can get around the obstacle that's protecting the safe, or the Ike, sorry.
Yeah, they finally are showing some weakness now, but Omen Elite have got IX Snacks down for the count, and it doesn't look like they're going to be getting back up. The Snacks are going to take a 3rd bot right now, and it would be a massive attack to get any damage in from the Snack squad, and then an amazing defense just to keep more damage off. There's no way they can pull it off, and just doing everything that they can to keep the damage away. It looks like they're going to be going down for this first game. Omen Elite jumping on in for a heroic dive at that enemy Ike, only able to get 29 29% damage off overall. These are two really defensively oriented teams that are much more concerned about holding the mid than really stacking up damage on that Ike, Tridd.
Yeah, like I said, it's not that explosive damage they're going for. Just control the game. Some great defenses coming out from IX Snacks, using their own summons to block the path of the siege bot and defend as best they can, give them as much time as possible. I really do feel like these brawlers don't have the capacity to deal effective damage to the Ikes because of the terrain that's effective on this map. So they have to play around the control. They could potentially make some swaps to get some damage in without the use of a siege bot. But at the moment, it seems mid control is the way to go, and it's something that Omen Elite appear to be so much better than IX Snacks at doing.
Yeah, you'd sacrifice way too much in terms of firepower for doing directly against the Ike instead of just going for those siege bot bolts right there in the mid. And that's what both teams are going to be doing. Once again, not much of any change at all in the brawler comp out swaps. It's going to be another mirror match with Pam, Max, and Gale. Forcing out the enemy Gale, though. Zulon gets an early hit against Daddy Zara, and that's going to be a really good result for Omen Elite, pushing both of those Snacks players to the left side and not giving them any chance to make it back to the mid and grab any more bolts. It's going to be a tie on the first bolt spot, and that's going to be a really interesting development here as Snacks are finally going to get a chance to deny Omen Elite the first bot and a chance to reestablish in the mid. No deaths really for the IX Snacks squad. They're playing a lot more defensively and carefully this time, and it's paying off dividends. They've kept the bolt score relatively even, Tridd.
Yeah, a lot of this has been actually on the back of Daddy Zar on this Gale to the right. He's had complete lockdown of the right lane by himself up until now, of course, when they've had to commit so many resources to stop him and get in. But it has freed up.
Boom! The push out! Slamming the door right in Omen Elite's face. IX Snacks are going to get this second bot. Just a little bit of a bolt advantage, and Omen Elite are having trouble to keep pace.
Yeah, going to be able to slam him down. Carl's trying to do his best to equalize, but you're right, Woody. They're not going to be able to get this bot online for them. IX Snacks going to get the first bot of the match with only one more remaining, but that 7 bolt lead needs to be conquered by IX Snacks, otherwise they could have difficulty in the final siege.
Yeah, exactly right about that, but I gotta say, with this big old bot coming in, you'd expect at least some damage from IX Snacks.
Nothing.
They can't get anything on the safe with a level 13 bot. That is just an absolute nightmare, and Daddy Second is showing it right on his face there, dropping the sad emote in chat as that pin is really showing what's going on in his mind. Unhappy with how that went. They're gonna have to get another siege bot and go in as ham as they possibly can to get any damage off at all. Otherwise, we're gonna have a tie game here, and that's not what either team's looking for.
Yeah, it's been very difficult for IX Snacks to maintain control of this map. They've done a great job of allowing bolt control going over to Omen Elite. They've got 10-8, so they're still in this right now. Zulan actually pushing Daddy Second into the bolt. Will get the kill before he can confirm that himself. So they do get the edge. A level 12 siege bot coming in. IX Snacks need to do what Omen Elite just did in the second attempt.
Dirty dozen for this siege bot, and that's going to be a chance to...
Oh no, he pushed him away!
Spring jump!
No!
Getting it ready again, it's geared up, here they go!
That's disastrous for Daddy Zar, Woody. He used the Gale Super, pushed him away too far. He wanted the reset, but instead, he forced a new path for the siege bot away from Pam's healing station and the rest of the team, so they weren't in a position to stall him from getting to the Ike, and it enabled a free path for Omen Elite to make the connection. A huge misplay by Daddy Zar at the end there.
Good catch. You know, I wasn't watching that myself. I knew that they were just doing their best to hop into the
Watch
action.
it in the replay. Watch it in the replay. It has to be there.
All right, I'll keep an eye out here as we're cycling through the replay. Is this it?
No, they didn't show it. So basically, you see where the summon is for Pam on the right-hand side? Just as the siege bot was getting there, Daddy Zar used the Gale Super to push the siege bot back, hoping it would stay on the same path, but he pushed it too far, so it switched direction away from where the defense was set up for IX Snacks. And it just meant that Omen Elite had that beeline to this Ike to go in there and deal the damage they needed. Otherwise, IX Snacks could have been in a position where they had that full defense and forced out a tie.
I mean, possibly, but Omen Elite was hopping straight in. They have a spring trap that goes directly to the enemy Ike, and all you got to do is get one tiny bit of chip damage off. No trouble at all for brawlers like Pam and Gale. So even if they had been able to defend against the Ike the way that Omen Elite had defended against earlier, it was an all-in move there with that third siege bot, and there was kind of nothing to stop.
Oh, here's that replay now. Thank you, production. I love you. So yeah, pushed it too far away, and there's the switch. Yeah,
so switches out to the left side. There's no defense that time from IX Snacks, but you'd have to stop every single little tiny bullet coming in from Gale and Pam just to stop every point of damage. And that's a really high ask for IX Snacks, but good read there on being able to switch that lanes on the bot, not what IX Snacks was looking for. But let's go ahead and hop into Triple Dribble now, a really popular brawl ball map. The objective here, of course, is to get that ball past the goal line. Oftentimes that comes right after you knock out your opponents with the team kill. Let's see who starts off with the aggressive play first.
Okay, so Carl back into the fray. Right now we've got Corey and Squashy both on that brawler. Daddy second opting for the Gene as Tyrant will pivot onto the Mr. P himself.
Yeah, take a look at the spread, though, for Omen Elite. Big plays by Zulan out on the left lane, taking down two
beeline. The super pass as well. Great knockback!
In! Excellent super by Zulan, destroys Squashy's defensive setup and gets an awesome shot off right before that. Good goal there from Omen Elite. They're going to start off this Brawl Ball game strong, Tridd.
Absolutely, and now they have control of the game. They don't even have to go for the second goal they want, but Corey getting a little bit aggressive. Spring trap over the top. Squash is going to go aggressive with his super. Won't take out Corey. We'll just sit on top of that ball. Zulan with the stun up on the Daddy Czar. He frees it up. Daddy Second's the last line of defense. They need to get the ball in there. Great pass away to keep them alive in this round.
IX Snacks going down.
Oh, Daddy Czar!
Dominoes. Omen Elite just pulverizing the top line of defense here, and Daddy Second doing his best to toss that ball away and get another few pop shots off, but the recovery is going to be really difficult for an IX Snack squad that has already gone down one goal and is struggling to push back out of their spawn zone.
They found a good line there with the ball to pass it up. Squashy's going to go aggressive to keep them away from passing it into IX Snack's territory. Daddy Czar attempting to go for the kill onto Tyrant. Won't find it. Instead, now has lost possession of the ball and his life.
It's everything that Squashy do can just to equalize this playing field. So many robo-porters now streaming out from the Omen Elite side of things that you have got to spread yourself pretty thin just to keep yourself alive. Nice job there from Zulan. Gets another super on two enemy brawlers, stunning them up, but no follow-up means that he's going down, and it's back to the midfield with the final chance for IX Snacks to make a return fire.
35 seconds remaining for IX Snacks. The lead still in favor of Omen Elite, and they're getting the kills. What do you do to kill all the pressure? Squashy goes in on Tyrant. Great disengage from Zulan to shut down the Carl. Will still find Tyrant, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. And now they're trying to press around, keep possession of the ball. 20 seconds remaining in the back corner. They're not going to go for goal number 2. They're just going to go for the denial.
And there's no way that IX Snacks can break through this defense without a massive miracle. They're hoping that they can pull it off. Squashy throws that X, but it's not landing. Great defenses here for Omen Elite, as all they really got to do is dodge the hits and keep that ball far away from the goal, and that's exactly what they did, tossing it back past the goal line. Even with a big offensive hit from IX Snacks, it's not enough to get the goal, and Omen Elite will get victory in game number 1.
Yeah, great last-minute pass from Corey just to guarantee it. It would have been incredibly difficult for IX Snacks to get that goal, but even still, with just the 1 second remaining, Corey's like, nope, got to get the ball further away, get it outfield just to make sure. So Omen Elite still having the presence of mind to stay alive in this game. 20 seconds remaining. They made the call to not go aggressive, instead played offensively, and it played out beautifully for them.
Great job to Omen Elite. We're going to be kicking things off again with another setup for Brawl Ball. IX Snacks have got this game. I don't know what they can do to switch it up here. They got great brawler picks so far. I'm pretty happy with their lineup so far, but Omen Elite have just been dominant coming off their win in match number 1 of this region. Their match number 2 performance has been just as good, right on point, and very challenging for any team to overcome. IX Snacks is grouping up in the top right corner now, finally getting a little bit of a spread, but Omen Elite was already established far and ahead before them and are getting so many solid hits off against Squashy right there in the middle. There's very little pushback from IX Snacks, Tridd.
Absolutely. Zulan going aggressive on his Daddy Second. He had the super first. Counterattack comes in, but it's too late. He gets another one, lapping his opponent as he gets the kill. They did trade 1-for-1, so it's going to slow everything down. He's going in on Squashy now. Reinforcements from Tyrant. Make sure he gets that kill as well. But the ball did not leave the half until now.
Tyrant defending now in the mid, sets up that Robo Porter, and that's going to be even more pressure to have to deal with. IX Snacks have used that gadget to try to get a little bit more firepower over on Corey on the right side, but he will not be denied. Storming in with the ball now. Another attempt to get a shot off, but he's going to pass it away since Squashy was charging him with the super. But that's going to be all 3 brawlers left up on the Omen Elite side of things, and a chance to charge in. Daddy Czar in a lot of trouble now with this 3v1, forcing him back.
Very gung-ho by Squashy, pulling the trigger on that super incredible.
Oh, here we go.
Great slow. Scale, going to be using the super to knock him back. Just Close it up, but it's not enough to get control of the game just yet. Second incredibly low, will go down. Squashy has possession of the ball, passes it out. That was the saving grace for IX Snacks.
Not the chance to put the nail in the coffin yet, but Omen Elite are playing really threatening right now. IX Snacks are struggling to force back this squad, and with so much damage coming in from Omen Elite, every time they knock down a brawler, that 3-2 power play gives them another big advantage to push even further past the enemy defenses. But that Robo Porter is just so valuable on the right side for Daddy Czar. He's holding up, but I don't know for how long he can.
Well, she's going to go down here. Super pass. Corey's got open goal. Goes for the pass. Daddy Czar intercepts at the end. A great save to keep him up. But they still got a 3v1 scenario. Daddy second with the stun. The pass out. Amazing play from the Gale to buy enough time for the IX Snacks respawns.
Everything they can possibly do, they've thrown at this Omen Elite squad, barely keeping the ball out of the goal line, but that's going to be a lot more difficult once these walls come tumbling down. 23 seconds until overtime. Daddy Czar is going to make his heads play here and now. Charges in and tosses the ball to the side. He's got to get some more damage off, throwing those briefcases as far as he can.
They're going to run down the clock for overtime. I don't think they can get the goal without it. They just don't have the position. They need an open shot. Squashy's building up the HP. He's keeping a hold of the super to try and play to get control of the ball once the overtime kicks into effect. And there we go. Open goals. This is it, Woody.
Mr. P, the bombastic businessman, is barreling through here. Squashy cannot be denied, though. Sends in a few more shots and takes down Tyrant. He's got a few more
passes off. Passes Daddy Czar now.
He passes it in. There he goes! Daddy Czar scores!
Fantastic play there. Great decision by Squashy to give the pass over to his teammate, who still had possession of the super. IX Snacks on the brink of defeat in Brawl Ball. Clinch it back, and they do not want to go 0-2 in this series.
Brilliant defenses from IX Snacks, well rewarded in the late game here. Overtime, great job to them. Even with so much damage coming out from Carl wailing away with that pickaxe. When the walls come down, Carl doesn't have any way to bounce his pickaxe off of those obstacles anymore, and it kind of reduces his overall DPS if he doesn't have anything to play off of there. The defenses, as a result, had crumbled a little bit earlier on, and IX Snacks in that 2v1 spot got the great shot on goal. Beautiful angling there, and excellent ball handling skills from IX Snacks to get the comeback. But that just evens things up here now, and Omen Elite are going to be even more ready for the win in game number 3. Tridd, this is really shaping up to be an exciting match.
Absolutely. IX Snacks are not rolling over. We love to see it, Woody. No changes, mirror compositions yet again as we head into the third round of Brawl Ball.
All right, Corey setting up in the middle right behind Squashy, but they've got possession of the ball. Omen Elite are going to toss it away, though, as they're going to get kills rather than ball positioning here in the early stage. Tyrant going in really aggressive, takes down Daddy Czar, and that's a big advantage for Omen Elite, pushing deep behind enemy lines. This might be an opportunity to take a shot.
Daddy second goes for the counter. They put it over the line. The respawns didn't come in fast enough, and Corey scores the first goal of this round.
Great job to Omen Elite, starting off strong, and then back-to-back Robo Porter spawns for both sides now, but it's going to be a war of attrition now that is in Omen Elite's favor. Having picked up that first goal, all they got to do is defend for a minute 43. Corey going to let that ball roll back a little bit, but it's in a bad position for Omen Elite. They don't want it to allow it to sit there, because if Squashy charges in, that could be a goal in a very short amount of time. That's going to force Zulan back to kick it over to the right side corner.
Corey going aggressive onto Daddy Czar to force him back to try and stop this pinch from coming in. Ball in the back right corner for Tyrant. They're just trying to clear out Zulan. They're going for the pinch. Great use of the super to lock him up. As Squashy and Daddy Czar move on the right-hand side, trying to get hold of the ball. Corey will go down. Oh, no. They couldn't get the pass they needed, but Daddy second is still there. Gets it over the line. And he equalizes in round number 3.
Excellent job to Daddy second. Gale Force wins from the IX Snack side of the field. Are going to be pushing back against an Omen Elite squad that have been so dominant in this match so far. This is the match of the ages for the entire day today. I gotta say, it's probably the closest one we've seen yet, Tridd. Well done so far to both Omen Elite and IX Snacks, pushing heavy firepower in. Daddy Czar fires away but misses the goal by just a couple of inches.
So close for Daddy Czar in that instance. They're now trying to get control of the ball. Squashy will deal with the Porter, but Ty will do exactly the same for Daddy Czar's Porter as it goes down on the right-hand side. Gonna pass it down into the midfield. Corey goes aggressive on Daddy Czar. He gets the kill, but Squashy will clean him up afterwards. The ball's being chased down. Tyrant with the pass to Zulan. Great denial.
That's it.
It might not enough. Tyrant's got open goal. And Omen Elite take the series to 2-0 scoreline.
And rubbing it in the Snacks' faces. Omen Elite dropping those pins at the last second, showing their dominance. A 2-0 set lead for this Omen Elite squad. The Canadians have heard the challenge and are coming back with a mighty swing of their hammer, getting a big lead over IX Snacks.
Yeah, this is the cleanup right at the end there. There's nothing they can do. Tridd and Zulan, they have open goal. They wait for it. Kick it back with the super pass, and that's all she wrote for IX Snacks on Brawl Ball as we look towards to what could be our final map of the series, and Omen Elite securing themselves a guaranteed first place from this monthly final.
Well, not quite yet. That's a 2-0 lead against IX Snacks. They just need one more set win, and Omen Elite would get all the way there. But they've got 3 maps to do it in. Not too tall of an order to ask from a team that has been so strong today. Pit Stop will be our next showing here. A heist game mode that is a bit different from the other heist maps that we've seen. A lot of times these heist maps have been going very quickly, but expect this one to slow down just a little bit since it's got a lot of obstacles to block those fast-paced hits.
Well, we're jumping into map number 3 just now, and we're going to have the Daryl coming out with the ball. So this is that super aggressive strat we saw in APAC yesterday, Woody, where you use the Gale and the spring shots to get onto the safe fast. There you go, already. No, he misplaced the spring shot. Corey didn't get the distance he needed, but it wasn't enough to force Squashy back.
Nice plays from IX Snacks, and they are not going to go down without a fight. Huge hits on this Omen Elite front line, and forcing Tyrant back with a great stun there. Daddy Second is going to be continuing this pressure, but so many high hit point brawlers from the Omen Elite side of things, it's hard to figure out when you've got the edge necessary to make that big stab happen. Daddy Czar and Daddy Second are both dishing out a ton of damage, but IX Snacks are just still just in a tricky spot trying to find an inroad onto that safe.
Absolutely, they managed to get that early damage. Well, you have to remember this map in particular, Woody, it's all about playing around the spring shots that are placed by the Gales. Those are the different makers. It's why so much mid control is important here. And often you see supers being committed to deny the jump, but Corey's going to do it by himself anyway, charging through the wall with the bull. Clears them out, and that's 2 on the safe to try and equalize the scoreline as they look to escape. But they have a 1% lead at present.
Not a big lead, but Omen Elite have got to be proud for that first hit. The tricky thing about playing up against so many tanks is that IX Snacks can't afford to go for the base race. They have to play the midfield and deny access to their safe. That's just super hard to do with these spring traps and playing against 2 brawlers who've got supers that can just dash or barrel their way right into your safe and get a ton of damage in a very short amount of time.
Thankfully, IX Snacks has access to Brock, so they can play at range and get that easy damage in. They've already blown up the cover with the Rocket Rain. Here comes Tyrant over the top, trying to get that damage in. Instead, he's committing onto Daddy Czar to clear him out. Squashy's alive, but will use his own super. Zulan for the support. They've got open lines on the safe, and they're going to try and get some damage in. They have not got a lead yet, but Corey comes diving in with a reinforcement. Super online if he wants to barge through. They're still trailing by 5%, Woody, with 30 seconds remaining, and a counterattack from IX Snacks coming in.
Great play from Squashy here. He'll be rolling right in onto that safe, taking it down to 51%, buying a little bit more breathing room for the IX Snacks squad. We've only got 20 seconds left, and we're about to watch the final exchange here. Can Omen Elite make the comeback happen, or will Daddy Czar get that pressure on that denies the act?
No!
Boom! Rocket Rain!
It's going to rain down on the safe, Woody. They're trying to burn through themselves, but they weren't able to clear out Daddy Czar. You needed to clutch that 1v1 to seal the deal, and you've not done that. 34% to 2. IX Snacks take the first round.
Huge hit for the IX Snack side, and the big star player for Squashy there is backed up right next to both the Daddy players here. Daddy Czar getting a ton of damage off of that Rocket Rain, and just like you mentioned, Tridd, even though those big tanks were rolling in hard and fast from Omen Elite, just a one opportunity to get those big shots off from Brock is going to deal a ton of damage to the safe. Great job there to IX Snacks.
Absolutely, that engagement right at the end. I believe it was the Daryl on the side of Omen Elite had to take the 1v1 with Brock, but you can't dodge out the rocket fire. You had to body block for the safe. It means he tanked too much damage, gave Brock the super to get the Rocket Rain in and sealed the deal. It was a tough spot to be in, and unfortunately it wasn't enough. There's the spring strap being already deployed. IX Snacks going out with the exact same composition, and so will Omen Elite, as they already look to get on these spring shots and get onto the safes.
Wow, much more of a base race opportunity for both of these this time, but it's going to be 2 tanks that are going to be up on the top side here. Omen Elite safe has been taking a beating, but IX Snacks have got their tank on the enemy as well. Squashy dropping every single gadget he's gotten, dumping the damage into it, but is it going to be enough? Advantage for the Snacks. They've gone there, safe down to 8%.
The Rocket Rain, Woody, it's coming in. Daddy Czar from the left. And IX Snacks, they clap back 2-0 on Heist.
Awesome job to Daddy Second and Daddy Czar keeping the firepower in, but Squashy was the big aggressive player that last game. Look at that damage from one Daryl. He gets like 10 seconds on the safe and gets it down to single digits. Impossible to deny the value there for IX Snacks, and that is what you love to see. A team that's so behind in the match overall, but willing to come back, fighting as hard as they possibly can, and they are well rewarded for it with a 1-set win.
Looking ahead over to map number 4 after this one. Taking a look at the scoreline, it's clear by the numbers IX Snacks had the edge there. It wasn't even about efficiency. They just had raw output over Omen Elite. We saw that strategy played in APAC, and that variation of bringing the Brock was not something we saw yesterday, but it was very effective this time around as we look to head over to Layer Cake for our bounty map.
The dream is alive, and whispers of reverse sweep are going through chat right now as fans of IX Gaming are hoping beyond hope that they can pull off a massive win against an Omen Elite team that has just now started to show some cracks in their armor. The only set they've lost so far to this IX Snacks crowd has finally given a little bit of a shot in the arm for this team. They're working super hard for it, but they have got a long road left ahead of them with 2 more sets coming from behind. IX Snacks and Omen Elite are going into set number 4 now, Tridd.
Yeah, heading over to the Layer Cake, expect to see things like the Piper, like the Brock as well, which we've already seen a proclivity for from IX Snacks, so I expect to see more of the same. We jump into that 4th map now. We'll get an idea of what's going on with these team comps. And there it is, the Brock, Gale, and also the Piper on the side of IX Snacks. But instead, Omen Elite are opting for the Tick.
Yeah, interesting play here. A lot of long-range damage from Tick and a good, decent bit of cover here. This is a map that we often do see Tick get run on just because he's got a lot of obstacles to hide behind, and there's not a whole lot in the way of busting down obstacles. Out on the right side, you do see 2 Brocks when those supers start raining in. That could
Squash is going to pinch Tyrant here.
Yeah, Squashy
going to use the gadget to get away. He's going to pop him down. That's beautifully played there by IX Snacks, making great use of the Gale gadget as Daddy Second finds another one and uses the super to get away. This edge has just been slid over to IX Snacks.
Squashy is playing brilliantly, using that spring trap to be able to hop right out of the base in the most dire circumstances, gets the kill and retreats just when the damage was coming in heavy. Daddy Second making a very aggressive play right behind the enemy line of fire, takes a shot. That was characteristically uncharacteristically aggressive from Daddy Second. That's going to swing the advantage now back to Omen Elite.
Yeah, and what's even more impressive, Tyrant was able to use his gadget to get out of damage on 56 HP, Woody. That could have swung it back to IX Snacks. A huge misplay from Daddy Second there. It's very costly for IX Snacks. But now Zulan and Corey, they're looking to maintain this lead. They have supers online. Squashy is very low. He takes a little bit too much damage. The head first will be committed by Corey. Great takedown and support there from Daddy Second to reinforce his Gale.
Yeah, nice job from Corey swapping out firepower on the left side with the super over on the right, but IX Snacks saw right behind that. They're down by 2 stars, though, and being pushed back into their own spawn. Omen Elite is getting a lot of room to play around with, but no! A big bursting wave from Gale is going to tie this thing up. It's 8-8, Tridd.
Tyrant, he stood on the spring trap. He's ready to go if they get too close. He will have his gadget available. I think he's got 1 more charge left. As they're waiting, 5 seconds left. I don't know if any of these teams are going to risk it. Tyrant exposed himself. He is down low. He's going to try and go over the wall, but it will be a drawn game. Very unusual decisions made by both Corey and Daddy Second. The aggression was punished perfectly by their opponents, but it did cost them both game-winning opportunities.
Gotta agree with you on that one, Tridd. I think that these teams are starting to get a bit rattled from that last set. This is really playing out differently than we might have expected. going against the kind of standard playbook to go for these really aggressive shots, even when you're far ahead. IX Snacks and Omen Elite both being punished for those overcommits and resulting overall in a drawn game. But it's still Omen Elite in the lead 2-1 in the set score. And as long as this thing kind of gets drawn out, I think that goes in their favor.
Yeah, I think that they can keep the momentum going from that previous victory that they've had so far. So I think IX Snacks may be able to come back into this one and keep their reverse sweep alive. We're going to jump straight into this game, Woody, and not take our foot off the gas to preserve that momentum. No variations from the comps coming in. So we'll see what happens, and maybe we can temper some of that aggression for the benefit of these two teams.
Storming straight through with no breaks. Omen Elite are going to be losing that first star in the center. Daddy second, making a quick stab and getting rewarded for it. The light lead for IX Snacks will be pushed even further as Daddy Zar continues that firepower on the right lane, landing a hit on Tyrant. Notice that Daddy Zar is using the incendiary star power while Tyrant has instead gone for the rocket number 4. That's going to get more burst damage from Tyrant, but more sustained over time from Daddy Zar.
Nearly a kill coming in against Corey there, who was able to get one of his own to give them the lead. Switching over from the Tick to the Gale at this point. Daddy second finding out Zulan, so it swings back in favor of IX Snacks right now. As he's going to go forward and break some of this cover down with the Piper Super. And it does make it harder for Omen to get this safe damage off. So they're pushing the line forward to try and use the cover that was once owned by IX Snacks. Rocket Rain used, but Daddy second finds his second kill of the game.
Great little hop back there from Daddy Zara, making good use of the gadget to get over the walls when it looked like he was in a bit of a trouble. But Tyrant is charging up far and ahead now, trying to equalize this star score overall, and finally gets pushed back. Nice kill there from Daddy Zara. Gets a beautiful read on where Tyrant was going and earns another hit. 8 stars to 2 for IX Snacks, and they have just got to play safe. And in the midfield, Daddy second doesn't look to be giving up those stars as easily this time around.
This is the play from IX Snacks. They've got a set play they're always doing, Woody. When they have to fall back, they allow Squashy to play aggressive with spring traps, using his super to push them into line of sight of both the long-range hit scan of Daddy Zar and the Piper as well. But Tyrant's going to go aggressive. We're looking at Squashy right now. He may go back to his spring trap, but he's caught up by Corey. He may go down, but a kill coming in from Daddy Zar. Tries to get away from Tyrant. How did he get away with all those stars? The lead is maintained by IX Snacks, and it looks like they're going to walk away with this one, Woody.
Tyrant cannot find an inroad against 2 snipers that have just been invincible this whole game. Zar and second have done it in game number 2 and will pick up the first win in this set. The IX Gaming fans are going wild in chat, cheering on a squad that was down but not out. The reverse sweep is still alive. IX Snacks playing beautifully in this bounty game mode, Tridd.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. They've got a perfect play that they constantly do. Like I said, using Squashy to set up the sight lines for Daddy Zar and second to be able to pick them off all the time. Willing to go aggressive to enable that. But that's who you want to be going aggressive. The Gale has the disengage. Your Piper does not. You have to play defensively and use your super to escape. The Gale can do that just fine by himself. Corey going back to the Tick for this next round.
It really seems to be that Omen Elite are getting frustrated. They feel like this game should be over by now. They picked up a 3-0 win in their first match. They already got 2 set wins, but IX Snacks is fighting back and fighting hard. Omen Elite will get the first star here from the center as they've been able to push Daddy second out with a nice couple of shots early on from Zulan, but no real comeback yet for either side. Wow, big jump from Squashy. It's going to be punished hard by Corey and Zulan, both out in the left side lane. Daddy second tries to capitalize, but doesn't get any hot hits off.
I suppose Tick does have a little bit of an edge here, Woody, when he tries to do it. He can see where Squashy is roughly going to land and have grenades deployed ready for him to get that quick burst damage. Now Squashy is caught off guard. Easy pickup for Zulan as Omen Elite start to pull away with a lead. Corey using the gadget perfectly to avoid that shot that was on target from Daddy second. But Zar picks up a kill, drops the lead to 1 star between them.
Only a slim advantage for Omen Elite and a nice dodge of Zar's hit, but wow! Zulan with the long bomb will pull forward ahead now with an 8-4 star lead. Omen Elite are on a tear right now, going back against an IX Snacks team. This is the revenge of the Sith.
Tyrant is going to be able to move to the right, trying to bring some kind of balance to the force by maintaining control. But Daddy second still taking the shots, not going to find a connection. 35 seconds remaining. Supers on the board for Corey and Zulan as Tyrant will try and deter the aggression from Daddy Zar. Second being tagged up. He talks over a grenade. Tick throwing in the damage. Zulan has to back out with his super. And he will stay alive, but they need a kill desperately, Woody.
Daddy's are in such an aggressive placement here, but hasn't been able to get the kill yet. Gets some backup for a second now. They're pushing all the way to the enemy spawn. Squashy gets a beautiful super. Can they survive? Zulan and Corey barely managed to make it back out. None of them going down, and the Snacks are going to hold on. They're fighting their best, but all three of them eliminated. Omen Elite have done it. They've made the comeback happen on a 15-4 scoreline, Tridd.
Squashy used that super too early. Brock and Piper were not in position to use the sightlines. They were out of range to be able to get the shots they needed from that reposition that was brought by Squashy. He could have waited maybe a second longer for Daddy Zara and second to get in position. They could have picked up 2 kills there on heavy star carriers. But once they backed off and the regen came in, they didn't have a chance to get in. And we're diving into the next map already, Woody. They're not even letting us have time to think about this.
Head straight back into it. These two teams don't want to let any momentum gather on their opponent's side here. They're hopping back into it, but an interesting choice here. We're seeing double tick this time. I really like that. I think that Squashy wasn't getting the value out of Gale that we had hoped and seen in past matches. So a bit of an aggressive play here from Zulan, but he will be rewarded for it. Grabs the star and will retreat. That's a 1 advantage now for Omen Elite.
Not enough to hold on to this game, though. We're waiting to see him press forward. Seconds waiting for the recharge. Zulan presses forward, now entering into kill range. Dodge out the shots, thankfully. Squashy trying to buy some time with the grenades to force him back. No one's found any connections yet. No one's taking any damage, so no supers are going to be on the board for a while. Daddy second gets deleted by Zulan Tyrant, and he goes aggressive on the Squashy, who has to use a gadget of his own to escape.
Daddy Second has been playing so aggressively and gets rewarded for it time and again, but you can't keep up against the firepower coming in from 2 angles. Zulan is going to work with Tyrant really well this time to triangulate that hit on Daddy Second, and with a 3-star lead now, it's Omen Elite's match to lose. 50 seconds left for IX Next to make the comeback happen.
Zulan blowing out some cover. The aggressive play by Daddy Zar is paying him dividends, but the head first, oh, thank God he got rid of that one, because that could have equalized very poorly for IX Snacks. Still the lead for Omen Elite, but it's down to 1 star yet again, but they have to go through the no man's land.
Yeah, glorious kill from IX Snacks, but not enough to make the comeback happen. They still got a 1-star deficit and are going to be forced to push heavy on in to the Omen Elite side of the map.
Squashy?
Firing up. Gets the hit. Tyrant is taken down. Squashy, a big matchup advantage now for Omen Elite, as there's only 15 seconds left before this is all over, Tridd.
This is series point, Woody. They have to go in, otherwise they're going to lose it. Head first is on the hunt for something, but Tyrant's taking it out.
Whoa, Daddy Zar!
Grenade! Daddy Zar finds one. It's down to a 1-star thing, but he nailed another kill. Tyrant takes out Squashy. Daddy Zar is low, and they cannot find the kill. Omen Elite are your North American champions for today.
The weak link has cracked, and Omen Elite have stormed past the finish line. Congratulations to this squad, advancing in first place for this North American region and challenging Tempo Storm for supremacy overall. We only have 1 team will move on to the World Finals from this region, and it's neck and neck now between Tempo Storm and Omen Elite, both up at the very top and both vying for victory. This is going to be my last match of the day, so I just want to say thanks again to the ESL and Supercell teams for keeping the excitement high. Thanks so much for everyone in the chat for coming in to watch these 2 amazing teams compete, and for all the 6 teams that were competing today, you did an awesome job. Congratulations on making it back again to this big stage, claiming that big multi-$1,000 prize and earning all the points for World Finals. We'll send it back over to Falcone to wrap things up.
Just completely amazing once again from Omen Elite. They just smashed this matchup into pieces. And again, it is time to give a shout out to our MVP, and it's going to be Corey for this one. And there's so many reasons I could give you for Corey being MVP. In Siege, he dominated the middle of the map with Pam, preventing IX Snacks from having any hope in getting the bolts. He switched to Carl, who has seemed particularly strong since the balance patches. And vitally, Corey was very good in Brawl Ball at passing that ball around the map, getting it away from his own goal. Yes, there were a few missteps within Omen Elite in this match, but at the end of the day, they were able to take this one down so easily. And Omen Elite are the winners of the group. Seriously, it's just been overwhelmingly positive to see their performances. But now, a little bit like the group we had earlier today, the big question is going to come to who is going to take that second place position. As you see the bracket here, Omen Elite, 6-1 set score. And now it's IX Snacks up against Kosmos Esports. Now this is going to be the game to watch. Again, they're not playing for first place, they're playing for second. But here it is, Kosmos Esports, Marley, Minwoong, Kennedy, and Skywalker up against IX Snacks, Feely, Czar, Squashy, and second best. And as usual, for the final match of the day, it is time for us to give you a little bit of information about these two teams. First, Kosmos Esports. When asked what Moonwing's hobby is, Minwoong said, carrying my team. When asked what Minwoong's superpower is, he said, carrying my team. When asked what Minwoong's strategy for the qualifier was, he said, never mind, I think we get it. Skywalker is a big fan of positivity. He claims that staying positive for the qualifier is his main strategy, and also that his team stay positive all of the time, even when down a couple sets. It's really touching to see. We'll see if it pulls them through up against IX Snacks. It's gonna be Squashy, Zara, and Felly. Squashy said that he likes his teammates because they're good at making smart plays to win the games. Though, according to Squashy himself, his job in the team is to throw the games. That's not ideal. I guess at least he thinks his teammates are good. Zara said his role on the team is to get massages on his back from his teammates. I don't know what to say. Is healthy back massage the key to winning in Brawl Stars? Well, I guess we're going to find out in this final match of the weekend.
Thank you very much, Falcone. What an exciting game that we just witnessed between Omen and IX Snacks, and great day for Omen. But nonetheless, we have got to determine who is going to be closing the gap towards Omen Elite between Kosmos and IX Snacks.
Yeah, still have to find out. IX Snacks played valiantly at the end. It took them a little bit to warm up, so I'm hoping now that they've had that early bit of brief exercise, they can bring that main performance they're looking for against Kosmos. Dual Gale bans on the field. It does mean that we could see some Sprout coming into the field.
Yep, Sprout, Jackie, I think no doubt some Carl as well. It's definitely a brawler that getting rid of is going to change a lot in terms of how these teams do battle it out. And yeah, no Mortis ban this time round, so anything can happen.
Yeah, just a very, very peculiar decision to ban that, but it's fine, it happened, whatever. Hard Rock Mine, Junk Park, Snake Prairie, Hot Potato, Backyard Bowl is our map set for this match in particular. We're going to be starting off with Gem Grab.
Yeah, Hard Rock Mine, a definite fan favorite amongst viewers and pro players, taking us way, way back into the golden days of betas. One of my personal favorite Gem Grab maps, and we saw some Rico lanes yesterday. We've seen some Gene Gem carriers in the past as well, and Gene was banned earlier today, but being back as a potential choice here, a pretty good solid choice of Gem carrier as well as maybe even a Bow as well.
Yeah, but you also got to remember, I think Gene was only played once in that second series of the day where Gene was not banned. So I don't know what it is. There's a bit of a movement or an ignorance of Gene at the moment, surprisingly. Are people just moving away from him right now?
Exactly what I was saying earlier at the very beginning with regards to our stats with the win rates and the play rates and the shift in the meta now. I think we're going to see a bit of a change there. Gene doesn't seem to be the favored pick at the moment, but I still think that his super, though, with the ability to pull, is always going to retain that. Yeah, and here we are straight away with second best is going to be playing Gene, as is Sky. And yeah, the turn ability of his fundamental super for me is always going to make him viable.
Well, Daddy Second collects those 2 gems. Sky taking a little bit of damage, but he will escape. Keep himself in cover. Daddy Zar has that super. They can make a super aggressive play if they need to. Gonna pop the speed just to make sure Daddy Second's alive. Tries to find the angle, but actually gets punished. And now Felly gets pulled in as well. They've lost all that mid control. They need to start capping some gems for it.
Yeah, Kosmos now looking to put even more pressure on the second best, who's forced back there. The gems are equal, but it definitely seems for me like Kosmos have got a bit more flair and fight going on here in terms of their control and their aggression.
Yeah, they're able to take control early. Great pull there, finds Minwoong. As Daddy Second will now walk forward to grab that gem that spawned onto his side. A second one on the map as well. They force the rest of Kosmos back. It makes it easy. Aggressive positioning there by Daddy Zar for Kennedy to punish. They're still quite level on the gems right now, Ark.
Yeah, I want to see people from Felly. I want to see some supers going down, as that will provide a nice cushioning for INTZ to really be able to push in to the center of the map and provide some...
Great pull! He found the gem carrier! Huge from Daddy Second! And now, Kosmos needs to go on the offensive to shut him down. Otherwise, that's going to be round one in the bag.
The BM is as strong as that pull there from second best. Great accuracy there at maximum range as well. And that's what I was saying about Gene. Able to turn the tides despite what else is going on in the game. And that's why, despite any balance changes, Gene is always, for me, a top choice of brawler.
Proving the case and proving Ark right and why he's at the top of the picks right there. Such an instrumental implementation of the super to seal the deal with the game. The opportunity was created by the pressure being generated by Daddy Zar and Felly. When they went aggressive, they forced them to move away. Round number one down. We're looking to move into the second one straight away as we're going to bring you round number two.
Yeah, I'm keen to see whether Sandy retains. I don't think so as we go in. No, he's going to stay as Sandy. Okay, for me, I didn't feel like Sandy really provided much. I do like the Carl pick from Zar here, but I would have probably preferred to have swapped out maybe Sandy for the Carl and kept the Max. But let's see, Mini Wings actually swapped over to Sandy as well. So both teams going to stick and take away the Max from these lineup.
Yeah, not finding much value with the speed boost. They think Daddy Zar going in aggressively with the could be the option here in case. So they're not reliant on second best having those great pulls. It's only one gem for himself. It's all about clearing the space and buying a right opportunity for second best to go in. Sky has got that pull, so the second Daddy goes in here, gonna have some difficulty getting away with it. Pull attempted, immediately deletes Felly. And now Daddy Zar's on the back line. They can't get to these gems. Second best looking for the opportunity to pull. He's just very meekly catching these gems, looking for the reinforcements to come in.
Yeah, Sky just being a little bit cautious there with the mid. Oh, Felly's popping gadget actually gets value, and the takedown on Miniwing. Miniwing didn't quite capitalize there and shut Felly down when he had the chance, and allowing then this side lane push between Felly and second best, as the pull from Sky is good, but still the gems are in the pocket of INTZ.
You're not pulling the gem carrier there, so second best still has 7 gems in his pocket. Sky does have 4, so it's not an insurmountable lead at present. They do need to find a way to get hold of second best on the Gene. He's playing so far back right now, and he has a pull of his own as he walks forward. Sky may want to attempt to go for this one. Second best being very cognizant of that. Pull attempted, not going to find it. And that's disastrous because they now triggered the countdown timer. They're going to have to go aggressive. The spawner will not give them an option. Great pull again from second best. Deletes out Sky. Deja vu. And he will be able to get himself another round win. INTZ take gem grab.
Amazing pulls from Daddy Second, consistent again in that second game, and Sky's first attempt was feeble in comparison, dominating early display then from INTZ.
You can see the attempt there to at least spin it round onto Sky, popping the super at the end after he was pulled in. Carl trying to find the value, but it's all about those pulls from second best. He's just twisting the knife at this point. So that's going to be the map win coming in for them as we look ready to move on to our second map of the series.
Yeah, it's looking like at the moment INTZ are definitely the more confident of these two teams, but as we saw previously today, the comeback that we saw between INTZ and Omen was there, so there's every possibility that Kosmos can start to bring things more into their favor. Going in to Junk Park and Siege could be their chance to do just that.
Yeah, moving into a siege map type, and this one's not as defensive as what we saw last time, so hopefully we're going to see a different style of play. We've seen very slow and muted sieges in our previous series. I want to see more aggression, more offensively orientated compositions coming in onto this one, because I'm not a massive fan of the mid-control, win by an inch, not by a mile style of play that we saw earlier.
Yeah, you definitely need some control, and there's definitely a balance to be found, and each team will have their own kind of play style. One brawler that I've got to mention is on the cards with only Gale being banned in this instance is definitely Sprout. Sprout has got that control abilities in the mid, but also a lot of defensive abilities also. We used to see a lot of Gene being dominating in that defensive region, being able to pull the bot from the side, and that's kind of gone a little bit back behind Sprout being so dominant by doing that. So I would like to see Gene here, but I think also Sprout could be one to look out for.
Okay, let's see what they're rolling out with then. So Sprout's into play, as well as a Barley and a Max for Kosmos Esports. The Carl still being committed with the Mr. P and the Sprout. So that's the only common factor right now, is bringing that most often banned Sprout.
Yeah, and double thrower is not something that we tend to see every day. And but again, the photosynthesis star power of Sprout definitely still the favored of the two since these balance changes. So interesting to see how that additional shield will do for both of these two teams. And no siege bot for the first round, a tie in the first round here, Tridd.
Really important use of the supers right there as well. They've now gotten rid of that brush, so that they're going to be able to have a clearer line of sight as they look at the trade. It's a difficult close engagement for Sprouts to take it one-on-one, so it's a bit of a wet noodle fight. And so they get the reinforcements from Kennedy in to try and tip the balance in the favor of Kosmos Esports, who have exploded their Bolt lead 9-4 right now.
Yeah, I was just about to say, despite that draw, 9 bolts in the bag, and this is going to be definitely where Kosmos want to tie it up. If IX Snacks have a good defense, it could be a very, very difficult late round. That third stage round will be very difficult for them to defend.
Oh no, this is looking like it could be a tie. In fact, it could go the way of IX Snacks. Kosmos need to go aggressive now. Level 10 Siege bot coming in on Kosmos Esports for the second round.
This actually might go in Kosmos Esports' favor because, 9 bolts for the next round if they get just a couple more. But they've got to defend this spot, and the Sprout Super's already been used. The slowdown for Barley's there, but look at this damage raining down, Tridd.
Oh, it's absolutely huge for them. Drop 70% damage. The bolts are already coming in thick and fast for IX Snacks. They may be able to close this gap. Daddy Second taking out Sky off to the side is going to be huge to relieve the pressure. Zar going off to try and find Kennedy and keep him at bay, but no one's touching the bolts. This lead keeps shrinking, Ark.
Not a single bolt is being banked by Kosmos, and this will be devastating because look at this. It's gonna be, if this continues, an IX Snack push despite all of that control, everything that was going in the favor of Kosmos, and they've thrown it away, Tridd.
They don't even need the Siege bot, Ark. This seals the deal. There's no way that Kosmos is going to be able to deal 70% worth of damage to that Ike without a bot in their favor. The game's over. IX Snacks going to take round 1.
Wow, Snacks look like to be very much on fire now. And this is not the start that Kosmos really wanted.
Not at all. So that's going to be round 1 going the way of IX Snacks. Let's get into round number 2 nice and quickly. Very dominant performance there. Just a huge shutout. Second best. Have Minwoon's number on the Sprout v Sprout matchup in that left lane for the entire round. Minwoon just couldn't find an entry point.
Yeah, it was honestly a great turnaround from the Snacks. They're under pressure to do so as well because 9 bolts in the bank for Kosmos was a great place if they just asserted a little bit more dominance in that return from that defense, but just weren't able to do so, and that's got to give a healthy boost of ego to the Snacks for sure.
Absolutely. They need to get rid of the brush in the middle as well, so we'll probably see Supers committed first there to deny the photosynthesis. That second best, waiting for the opportunity. So now there's no more brushes. We're not going to see those obnoxious shields come into play. To go for the 1v1. Second best going to get it. They answer back though, so it's a 1-for-1 trade, but Kosmos walks away with the level 3 Siege bot to kick things off.
Yep. The level 3 is not going to do much of a dent, to be honest. Depending upon, of course, how much IX Snacks value this first push. It's all about the control gained in the next instance and how quickly it is gained. And that is going to be the thing that Kosmos is going to have to hold on to. 15%, not much. But again, can IX Snacks come back and bank a few bolts? Because there's already 3 in the bag for Kosmos here.
They were looking for a bowling ball size dent. They only really got a tennis ball size one in that last push. 15% taken away from the Ike, as the bolts are still in the favor of Kosmos. They got 6-0 lead right now, and it's struggling for IX Snacks to find a way back into this one. They have collected 2 bolts, looking for a third, but Sprout Super denying second best the safe path to it. They're actually going to be able to climb this one back, but not enough. They're going to have to play for the last siege.
Yeah, the last siege, and actually that's a great opportunity as well, again, for Kosmos to do a bit of a reverse here. We've seen this in the previous game, but now definitely Kosmos getting a bit more momentum as the bot goes in and starts to take some of that damage down of the IX Snacks Ike.
Okay, so they're getting it down to 40%. They can still win this one with a powerful last siege bot. They have a 4-bot lead, but they have to get mid-control now to make sure that they have a powerful enough bot to close this gap.
And at this rate, if Kosmos keep banking bolts here as well, they might even tie the set. But no, Zar with a really
great shutdown.
2 bolts then picked up by Zar is surely going to secure at least a push here for Snacks.
Yes, they're going to have their final attempt right now. They need to bank the bolts. They've got a 4-bolt lead. Level 9 on the board. It all comes down to this, Ark. They have to find 60% worth of damage in this push.
Yeah, Canids goes down. So that Ewan's not going to be able to redirect this spot. This is going to be looking to be a really, really good push for IX Snacks to capitalize on.
They're getting the damage
going
in.
Down so quickly.
They've got enough. They're going to do it, Ark. They've dropped it down low enough, and IX Snacks will get the defeat against Kosmos Esports, and that means they will take this second round. They are now got a 2-0 scoreline.
Despite the pressure, I mean, you gotta hand it to IX Snacks there, and it was definitely for me in that defense moment, a time when Kosmos needs to think through staying alive and obtaining their supers before the bot came in, and it wasn't able to be done. As a result, there was just nothing to tank for the bot, and that's why we saw it go down as quickly as that.
You also ended up, I think there was a little bit of a mistake coming in from the Sprout on Kosmos, blocking the right-hand side. Well, that was the path that we saw the opposing Sprout go down. She's a thrower. Well, he's a thrower. It means you can throw it over that wall and still get your damage in. If you would have gone to the left, you might have been able to shut down the Carl that was coming in from that angle as well, instead, and reduce some of the damage. Wouldn't have been like an absolute game-changing decision, but it's a small bit of micro that would have helped.
Indeed, indeed, and it's going to be Snake Prairie that is going to be up next for Bounty, and I think definitely a very, very different game mode to watch for the viewers, and Bounty does tend to slow the pace a little bit, and even more so with this particular map, and we are going to see that same strategy of the bow totem gadget to supply supers to your team early on for both of these two teams.
Zar bringing the Tara, so they're going to have the gadget enabled. I didn't see if Kosmos have a Tara of their own. They do. Sky's on there. They pop the thing, immediately super into gadget. Didn't give Sky a chance to react there to give them the early lead.
Yeah, not at all, but IX Snacks in a great position now. They can start to break up the map, and it does seem that Kosmos are going to sit back and try to get their supers. Kennedy does have that, and that Mr. P super is very, very important. A good advantage here for Kosmos is that Mr. P portal will seek out IX Snacks no matter where they lie in that bush.
Yeah, they're going to be the pathfinder for Kosmos, know where they need to go. Second best, needs to get a super online. Great gravity from Zar, finds themselves 2 kills from IX Snacks to increase this lead. They put the traps down, so if they go down the left-hand side to try and stay into cover, they will break down the last remaining cover they have to transfer from one side of the map to the other. We're throwing in traps of their own. Super Totem at the back. Sky pops the gravity. Great escape there from second best, and Zar comes in for the defense. They're shutting down everything Kosmos are throwing at them.
Yeah, Sky went for the suck on Daddy Second there, and Daddy Second had his super, keen to get away, and the support from Zar was there, and at the moment, Kosmos not the round they needed. Gonna surely put IX Snacks on match point with another suck from Zar, and the BM continues to fly around here.
Yeah, second best keeps popping out of brushes, popping the emote, and then going back into cover. They know they've got the victory here. It does not matter. 15 stars to 0. IX Snacks looking to close out the series here.
Yeah, just a hard-hitting comp, and I think smarter plays from Zar playing Tara. I think Sky was putting himself in a bit of a riskier position without really much team support the majority of the time there. And I think when you got Mr. P on your team, despite that super being a great contribution to finding your opponents, you've got to be a little bit more passive. And when you're on the back foot, you've got to go on the aggressive, and that was the issue there.
Well, we're jumping into what could be the final round of the day. So jumping in, no adaptations coming in. This composition is strong for both teams. They want to try and contest this early first star, but not if it's going to cost them on lives. Second best waiting. for it, trying to find some kind of information. They know roughly where Sky is. Minwoo on the large flank, playing very dangerously, but they're letting the Taras soak up the super totem and come into the fight with their own supers to kick things off.
Yeah, this is the thing now is IX Snacks are very, very close to sealing the deal. Kennedy going in with the sneak.
Look at Zar, he's going to clash with Kennedy. He pops it early. He gets his super off first again. Zar getting the victory in that first engagement and giving the early lead as Felly increases it with a bow of his own.
Kennedy with the return suck as well and does get that takedown, giving now 3 stars at least to Kosmos, and Minimum actually just narrowly avoiding those mines is a very, very important thing to do. Not always easy when you're in the zone. Sometimes the pressure can get to you and you can actually give away a lot of your HP there, but done so very nicely. And now Kosmos need to push in here.
He's going for the break here, using the super. That's it. They can now no longer cross into the enemy side of the map without the knowledge. Gadget popped by Kennedy, so they know where to find all of the members of IX Snacks, but they can hide in the grass. That is by virtue of this map that they can do that. Zar now has his super online. He's waiting for Minwoo to step too far forward with the suck. Gadget pop, they know where they're going, so that gives them the confidence to press forward. Great suck on the Minwoo, instantly deleted. 7 stars to 3.
Yeah, second best with that support, just instantly eradicated Minimum there. So great start here for IX Snacks, and 30 seconds left. They've, Kosmos have got to do a lot. They've got to do it now.
Kennedy has to have an amazing gravity here. Finds Felly on the side to bring it down 7-6. They need one more kill, and the clone is in hot pursuit. Gadget popped. Zar doesn't have super online just yet. He needs to find that. We're looking towards Sky. Damage coming on the right-hand side. They've got 9 seconds. Kosmos can do this, Ark.
Yeah, but no super from Kennedy means it could be tricky, but here we go. It's all going to go down to this. It's not going to happen for Kosmos. IX Snacks retain it and absolutely dominated over Kosmos today.
IX Snacks with the 3-0 clapping to close out the day. They will guarantee themselves 2nd place for this month's final for the North American and North LATAM region.
A great day for the Snacks. They weren't able to dominate on Omen Elite, who will definitely extend their lead closer to Temperstorm, but nonetheless victorious today against Kosmos, giving them a healthy amount of points and obviously a nice amount of cash to go along with it.
Oh my, that's disgusting. A 60k difference in damage dealt, 9 kills over them as well. That says it all for how dominant IX Snacks was in this final map of the day. We're going to throw it over to Falcone to close things off. We'll see you next month for some more Brawl Stars action.
Okay. In this group, there have been some pretty one-sided matches, let's be real. Omen Elite dominated everyone, but now we have seen the Snacks eat up their competition. Let's take a look at our MVP for this final match. It is second best. If you hadn't already guessed that, I'd be a little bit surprised. Second best, we saw play as Gene, Sprout, and Piper. So let's think way back when, which wasn't really that long ago, the first few games of Gem Grab with with Gene. Look at the disgusting pulls that Gene is capable of in Gem Grab. Gene just seems to shine in that mode, and Daddy second best, played Gene beautifully. Moving on to Siege with Sprout, especially towards the end of that final game. That was the highlight moment for me, where second best was able to use Sprout to really push control of the center back. And finally, in Bounty with Piper, second best did what second best does. He kept his distance, some beautifully timed escapes with the super, dealing that key damage to the other team and taking them out bit by bit. A well-deserved win for Snacks and for second best in particular. I think it's time we take one last look at the bracket for this group today to see how things finally shaped up, with Omen Elite, of course, as if you'd forgotten, taking their 2-0 match score, but then IX Snacks taking down Kosmos Esports and booking their second place spot. The prize money, the healthy amount of points that we're going to be going into in just a few moments, because prize money is what it is about at the end of the day for these players. They're trying to play Brawl Stars for a living. And Omen Elite have done a pretty good job of that. $9,000 going to them, $2,000 for IS Snacks, and $1,250 for Kosmos Esports. Again, we congratulate the players for qualifying, but Omen Elite are taking home the lion's share of the money, and it was very deserved. Here's the leaderboard, though. Let's see how the region is shaping up. And Tempo Storm, despite the fact they didn't qualify this month, and I believe didn't qualify next month either, they're still in the lead at the moment. But if Omen Elite keep this up, they will be overtaking Tempo Storm. Things are really heating up in the North America and LATAM North region. IXL, Cosmos Snacks, and Kosmos all still have some catching up to do, but Omen Elite are very seriously looking to book that first place spot in the region. And I believe after 2 long days of Brawl Stars action, we are finished for the July monthly finals. But don't you worry, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, follow on Twitch. However you're watching, we hope you enjoyed the show. From Ark, from Tridd, from Woody, from the production team, and from myself, we really hope you've enjoyed. And we will see you again for the next Brawl Stars monthly finals in August.